Today is a very special day. It's also good old friend of mine, Mr. Chris Doan's in the house.
Hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, everybody.
Crashcast coming at you for the first time ever with a live guitar. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this episode Affected with Chris Doan.
Sounds good.
It does sound good. And first, we like to start it with a...
Oh, the little guy? Well, I already did mine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oops.
Clink.
Cheers. Clink.
We're across the room. He's got this big rig. If you check out the Instagram, it's on there. It is quite beautiful. We're going to go over some of that stuff. Today we're going to be talking about guitar pedals, effects pedals, all that stuff. And I want to start with a little story. So I used to be a purist. You might remember, because me and you have had many conversations. I used to be a... well, if the amp can't do it, then I don't want to do it. You know, I used to be like that guy. Distortion or clean. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
If you want to be fancy, just do something different or whatever. But then me and you were in a band together, and you were the first guitar player I knew that used effects like a lot.
A lot. Yeah. A lot of the time.
You were the first guy to have a solid signal chain of things going on. Mm-hmm. And I remember we would write those old songs, and you would add like a delay or a chorus to something, and you would do like those fast picking,
like ambient
stuff over like those heavy riffs that Jesse would play, like breakdowns or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time I was ever like, so that's where all that comes from.
Yeah, it kind of brings like sort of a Deftones like kind of atmosphere, like layer over it.
Yeah, the layered atmospheric feel. Mm-hmm. And now I'm a total junkie for the shit. I've over the years, because after our band disbanded, I went on to be a drummer, and I just drummed forever, years. So I didn't even really think about it. And then I picked up a guitar. I want to say like it was like 5 years later. Yeah, because my Hands to Word
with Justin,
and My Hands to Word broke up. So then we started Lame Johnny, and I went back to guitar. Yeah, and when I went back to guitar, I was like, I want to do something better than I've done before in the past. Remember, I came up and saw you at Guitar Center. Oh, yeah. And you helped me set up my whole station. Sold me the pedal board, the pedals. You were like, this is what you need.
Put this here.
Put this here. Yeah. You told me how to chain it all together. You were like, if you're going to do this, you have to start right here. Mm-hmm. If you put this in between that, it's going to sound like crap. Right. And that's still have it set up the exact way you told me. I need to add some shit. I've been looking at a... did I send you the video actually? Or I don't think I ever sent it to you. That Keeley adaptive.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Did I send that to you? Oh, my God. Sick. That adaptive tremolo.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube video on that.
Yeah, I have to get one. I'm lagging behind in my adapting my pedal board, but
it takes time, man.
Yeah, oh my God.
It's like all that money.
The money is insane. I think that's like a $200 pedal.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
this board is probably $3,000.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like to those who don't have Instagram or whatever, and you're not checking it out. This pedal board is immaculate. It is damn near the width of my table, which is 5 feet wide.
Right. It's freaking huge, man.
Yeah, it's a whole yardstick of footwear. You have quite a bit of things. I want to go over it all, but I also want to just like dive into some of like when you first start playing guitar, you know, most people pick up like a cheap guitar, cheap little amp. Like I started with a homemade guitar, actually. I bought from a friend for $50 in a crate, 1x8.
Oh yeah, everybody has a crate.
Right, like the GFX 10 or whatever that
I
fucking.
Had one too. Yeah, for real. Mm-hmm.
And now today we're running through some serious.
Serious shit.
There's some serious gear in this room. I feel like there's like $5,000 worth of shit.
Oh yeah,
just in this pedal chain. But do you remember whenever you first started playing, were you always into effects, or was it like something you grew into?
That's something I completely grew into.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I started to listen to certain kinds of music. I guess like, you know, Deftones, a lot of like hardcore bands that implement ambient lines and stuff like that.
Right.
Kind of like Misery Signals and stuff. And just got really big into like ambient music, I guess, and built my pedal board from there. And then being in Mainland Divide for, you know, a while, like
years.
Yeah, years, and like probably like 9 years. we were an ambient band, and so I had to get, a bunch of delay pedals and reverb pedals and just create layers and stuff like that.
So many layers. And y'all were a instrumental band, correct?
Yeah, instrumental. But near the end there, we added some vocals into it. But yeah, most of the time we were just completely instrumental.
Was it like spoken vocals, or was it more like
it was like more of a screaming, like more of a hardcore yell?
Okay,
Rick.
Right.
Yeah, Rick did some of that stuff for us.
I just saw him the other night. That was
really
cool. Yeah.
Dang,
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him in so long, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I didn't even recognize him at first. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while, dude. Yeah, he just kind of stays home. Really.
Well, that's what everybody does these days.
I know, you get older.
We're at the fucking stay home generation now. The 30-somethings are all at home.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yeah. So that's so you go through and you're making all this stuff. Didn't y'all score some movies?
Well, no, we just did we did scores for like these shows.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like we did a score for Nosferatu.
Like a play.
Well, not like a play, but they showed Nosferatu the vampire, like the old silent film.
Oh, shit.
In Robinson, and we
okay.
We did that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we just like kind of wrote a score and did it live.
That's awesome, dude.
It was pretty dope. Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah, we loved it. And we also did another one too for the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Just did a big ambient score. We got a really good response out of it.
Hell
cool.
yeah! Well, that's a unique thing for a band to do.
Oh yeah,
you'd never, that's a rare.
Yeah, CT asked us to do it. CT from Wake.
Shout out to that man.
Yeah, for real.
He deserves all the love.
Yeah, Little Rock loves him.
Yeah. For a reason. He's one of the best. I've grown to fucking very much appreciate CT. And everyone else, and we just did that huge benefit show.
Oh yeah,
and it was, oh god, I know I talked about it on the last podcast, but I can't stop thinking about it, man. Like my brain is just like, whoa.
I wasn't able to make it because of work, but I saw pictures.
Oh, dude,
and like I haven't seen Vino's that packed since.
Right,
like,
that's what everyone was like, dude. It reminds me of like 2005, 2003,
the Vino's heyday,
the heydays, man. And I was like, I was trying to tell the younger crowd. And I was like, you know what? This was every other day.
I know.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, this was just normal.
It's like my second home.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But so it was really nice to see, it being so packed, and it was almost sold out, right? Or did it?
No, it was sold out.
It was sold out.
It was completely sold out. And then some. What, shh. Yeah. But it did really well, and I should actually say, I think I mentioned it last week, but I pulled a foolish move and got hammered drunk, and I don't really remember what happened last week, and I'm sorry for that. So I just recap a little bit there. So it was a benefit show, and it was no secret what the money's going to. It's going to the stage, and anything left over was actually going to go to help the other equipment, like the speakers and the lighting.
New PA. Yeah,
well, what's amazing is we've done the early math. We got the figures, we got the stage and stuff, and we have a person the same day we're going to do the construction, which is on March 3rd. They're going to be able to redo all the speakers. There's enough money was made to do the speakers, the stage, and actually add some lights.
Dang.
So like it made all the money it needed to fix basically everything.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like for real.
That
place needed that so bad.
I'm so excited. And I guess there's been like a rumor mill floating that now there's going to be some fucking bangers of some shows coming because everything's going to be on the up and up.
Man.
I don't know if that's true. That's just me hearing shit, Like I don't know what's going on behind the scenes because I'm just kind of like right now my main focus is March 3rd.
Yeah.
We have to do what the benefit was for. We have to like my thing is I have to make sure that stage gets done. It gets done right. And so I know I'm way off topic, but I want to start with before we get into like the nitty gritty and talk pedals. I want to get into the signal chain a little bit because I know people are going to want to know what we're going through. So first, let's start with the guitar.
The guitar. I brought a 1994 Fender Jaguar. Have it modded out with Seymour Duncan P rails. Also put two new switches in it, so I can go from a P90 pickup to a humbucker to a single coil with a flip of a switch. It's also Japanese made. Yeah, I don't know if I said that.
Oh, you didn't? That is a Japanese model?
Japanese made. Yeah, I think I like Japanese made guitars more than I like American made guitars.
Really?
I don't know any American made guitars. Yeah.
You don't own a single one?
Yeah, just like Mexis, Korean made, and Japanese. I mean, I don't know if I want to spend like $1,500 on a guitar. You know what I mean?
Fair.
So a lot of these I bought used.
I cap mine at $9.
Capped in the 9.
Yeah, if it costs more than $900, I don't fucking need it.
No, I feel you, man. Yeah, I mean,
plus the way I play, I damage. Every guitar of mine has a fucking crater of dents, you know?
Really?
Like, I throw my shit around, and it's just
that's
not...
character. There you go.
Hit a lot of character.
Yeah, for real.
But, you know, that's not something you want to do with a $1,500 guitar. That's foolish.
No, I'd leave that at home, probably.
Yeah. Actually, the most expensive guitar I have is actually in there.
Really?
Sitting much away from my dangerous self. Yeah. So then we run... Oh, man. Sorry, excuse me. Running from that Jaguar into this insane pedal board. And then from that, oh man, we're going into a Revenge, which is actually a local guy. That's a local, the name of that head's called the Lil Rock.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, dude. My buddy, shout out to Jeremy McKell. He loaned it to me. It's a switchable 3 to 5 watt head, all tube. Super, super warm. It has 2 inputs, a low and a high. It has 2 outputs, 8 ohm, 4 ohm, and a DI.
Right on. Oh, so you can go direct.
You can go direct right out of the head. You don't even need a cabinet. And it has also a tone control, a gain control, and a volume control. That's it. Very simple. Yeah. The tone is cranked all the way up, and the gain and volume are at about half mast on each. And that goes into a Bogner 2x12 Alchemist, a 2013 model.
Those are nice.
Dude, I love it. It has one standard vintage 30 Celestion, and it has one greenback.
Right.
The speaker that's mic'd that you guys will be hearing is the greenback, and it's through an SM57 at a slight angle about an inch away from the cab. And actually, I was gonna go front with like front facing.
Oh yeah.
But kind of I love that cabinet, but kind of a stupid design. I've never actually mic'd it. There's a piece of wood directly in the center.
Oh, weird. So that kind of inhibits you from...
Yeah, it kind of inhibits you from micing the fucking speaker directly
on.
Like
right on it. Yeah.
So it's at the cone at a 45, more like a 30, whatever. But it's not a sharp angle, but just at an angle, pointed at the center where the cone meets the actual speaker part. And then through that, we're going through 2 3-foot monster cables because it's all I had left. I would like it to be just one, but it's all I had left. So we're going into that, and then that is going into a Focusrite. I want to say this right. Focusrite Sapphire 40 Pro 8-channel into my iMac running Logic Pro. Boom.
Tight.
That's the signal chain. That was a whole mouthful.
Yeah, for real.
I want to nerd out a little bit because that's a hell of a chain. It sounds great in the room. Again, this is the very first time this has ever happened.
Tight.
So there's going to be, if there's any audio issues, I do apologize. I don't think there's going to be. I spent half my day trying to get this set up. So hopefully the direction of everything doesn't feed into because we did one a couple days ago and I had a bunch of people in here and I didn't think about all the noise.
Right.
And there's like a little echo on the podcast. And I'm like, damn. There's like 8 microphones on at one time. Of course,
this you live and you learn.
Yeah, you live and learn.
Right.
But so that is the lineup. I even had to take notes on that because, good Lord, what a lot of stuff. But okay. So on Logic, also the tone will not be colorized. I will have an EQ on, but it's just for high and low pass filters if I need it, and a compressor to make everything the same volume.
Yeah.
And I'm also running it at 48 hertz. Not 44. Okay.
Tight.
Boom. Notes done. Check. Now we can get to the fun shit. The whole reason we're here.
Word.
All right, man. So pedals, they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
Store-bought and otherwise.
And boutique. Oh, yeah. Handmade.
Boutique. I feel like I want to get into this. So what is your, you have a lot of store-boughts on there. What is your opinion one over the other? Does it matter?
I mean, I guess it depends on, I don't know, on what you're really looking for, I guess. I mean, a lot of the handmade stuff, you know, it's all built by hand instead of been put through a factory process and hand wired and built for a certain specific reason. You know, I mean, I have a couple of boutique pedals on here that you wouldn't be able to find in places like Guitar Center and stuff like that, just because of their quality.
Yes.
You know, and I'm a nerd, and so I'm gonna shell out the money for it. You know,
I blame you actually.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Chris though too. If y'all need something or need advice, that's the man to see. You go to Guitar Center, you talk to Chris Doan.
Hell yeah.
He's going to fucking make it. Listen, I still use all the shit you sold me, and it still works fucking fantastically, swimmingly. The only thing is I have to bring Justin Cole's ass in there, and we have to buy all new cables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those things are just...
I know.
They're just fucked from all the years of stomping around. And you know.
Yeah. Can't last forever, I guess.
Well, mine and his big-ass feet smashing on things just have not... They have not done it well, but... We had a huge snafu at the show on Friday. Like the cable coming out of the delay is just toast.
Oh, wow.
So we had to like redo the chain real quick, and
you
know,
technical issues that show.
Technical issues. I was kind of thinking. I was kind of thinking that like I admire the store bots. I was kind of thinking how I would word this because they have to build a pedal that is. It has a like a goal, like a distortion pedal, right?
Yeah.
So they're cranking out these distortion pedals, but it's not. They don't get to put like all the like the best transistors and stuff because it has to cost. It has to be affordable and it has to be mass produced, which means a lot of people have to like it. So like they have they have kind of a box they have to fit their self into, whereas the boutique guys go, no, we don't have any box, and they can have 4 distortion pedals each, very specific, like. This has this transistor for this tone, period. You know? And for those of you who don't know, basically all pedals are a series of transistors and wires and different like routes to get different tones. There's like delay modules and all kinds of little nerdy little gizmos inside there. Like Spring Reverb has an actual little spring that fucking moves around and creates reverb.
Yeah, and there's some pedals that actually have a real spring, you know, not like a digital replication.
Right. And then there's digital replicating pedals like the... What is it? The Digi 6 or what? The Boss? What is that? Boss 6.
The reverb?
No, the delay pedal. It's a digital delay, isn't it?
Yeah, like a DD3.
DD3, DD4, yeah.
Yeah, it just replicates the digital. Yeah.
Right. And then you hear like that versus like, you know, the $400 actual delay pedals, and you're like, oh my God.
Right.
But
or compare it to like, you know, like the Echoplex that came out in the 70s that actually used real tape.
Right. Oh, and went back and forth and created layers. Yeah, dude.
And now you have these pedals out there that directly, you know, emulate that.
Yes. Which I will say now, and I mean in the last 5 years, that stuff, that emulation has come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
Like before, and you have to kind of give thanks to like the people who started out, like the Digitex and the Boss multi-pedals, because without that shit and the terrible mods, you wouldn't have the great ones that we have now, because it's all a learning curve.
Not only that, but, you know, multi-effects pedals like, you know, that Boss and Digitech make, they really open up a world of people that aren't into pedals. Right. You know, that was my first foray into pedals, was a multi-effects board.
Mine was that, I mean, I think everybody had it, that 2-stomper Digitech.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the name, but that it's blue with the blue pedals, and you crank through the knobs to get the tone, and then you had an up bank and a down bank, and it was just whatever you chose.
It has a bunch of presets built into it and stuff. It just kind of introduces you to effects.
And it sounds like absolute garbage, but it's there. It's something you can get the idea, and then if you want to hone in on that idea, go get the real shit.
Right.
But you know, companies like Boss, like, man, I have a couple of Boss pedals floating around, and I use their tuner, and like the construction's well done.
Yeah,
you know, they have a very, I will say, probably the most innovative battery like system to get to it, where you lift the foot pedal up.
Right.
You undo that screw and lift it up. Like, that's genius.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of great design in those pedals. The only problem I tend to have with the manufactured pedals versus like the boutique pedals I have is the input jacks are hard, because they do a like a, what is that called, a bed solder, where the whole plate goes through a bed of solder, so everything's on that board. Like, there's no getting it the fuck off there. You can, but you better have some big cojones and really know how to solder and not overheat stuff and fry things out. But those boxed input jacks, man, I'm just not a fan.
Right.
That's the only thing I don't enjoy, because when they go out, it's like, dude, do I really try this and fix it? Or do I just spend $100
and get another
and
one.
go and get it?
Or
And
something else, yeah.
Right, or something. And most times I just go get another one. You know,
Mhm.
it's like, whatever, dude. It's just a tuner. But I have the orange Boss distortion, the classic orange.
Yeah, DS1.
And then there's some of those pedals, dude, that are like the most sought after pedal, like the Tube Screamer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what year everyone wants, because I don't use Tube Screamers, but there's like a certain year out there that people just hunt.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, I gotta have this Tube Screamer with this other pedal.
And there's so many different Tube Screamers out there.
So many.
And I mean, there's like hundreds of pedals that emulate the Tube Screamer too.
Yep.
It's just like another Tube Screamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a friend of mine actually makes pedals, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about too.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue. He's a boutique manufacturer, and he literally will just make one and be like, give me what it costs. Like, give me $50. And I'm like, $50 is all it costs? But, he's soldering to like what they call a wafer board. That's like the innards. And he goes to this website. He finds these diagrams of if you solder this to this to this to this to this and go down the whole chain and put an input and an output, boom, you have a replica of a fucking what's that fuzz box everybody loves, that
or like a fuzz face,
the fuzz face,
yeah,
or
fuzz
like
face.
the muff,
the big muff,
the big gray Russian muff,
right.
You just do that and boom, you have it. And you have to use, what is it, germanium?
Germanium circuits or silicon circuits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whole world of craziness out there.
Yeah, that's something I haven't even gotten into, is like building pedals. I have no idea. Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to, because of the cost. I mean, the cost is like nothing.
Oh, I know.
He showed me the websites, and it's like, you get a whole box of germanium transistors for $20.
Yeah,
and
you can go online to eBay and like find build your own clones all over the place.
all day. But you have to have the wherewithal to
actually build it.
He has like a little table, and it's got like he has a like clamps, and he clamps the wafer board in, and he starts soldering all the pieces together, and he'll check his rates with a meter tester and everything. And I'm like, I don't think I have that in me.
No, man, like me neither, man. I'm so ADD. I don't know if I can sit down and do that. Yeah.
Well, because it would be like, oh, that solder's ugly. Let me undo that.
But I certainly appreciate the people out there that are doing that,
dude.
Because I mean, I wouldn't have this whole big thing in front of me right now.
Right.
For real.
Like that Keeley, dude. I keep going back to that because that's my new obsession.
Yeah,
I probably
adaptive,
dude. Tremolo.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna calm down until that's in my possession.
Oh yeah.
It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what I mean by adaptive, for those listening who might not know, is like, depending on how hard you pick it and how fast you pick it is how the tremolo will react, and it will either speed itself up or slow itself down, or make it even has volume dynamics, and it will lower its tone and just be kind of like mellow. So the softer you pick, the softer it is, or the harder you pick and the faster, the more crazy it goes.
That's sweet. Yeah,
man, that thing is just on another level.
You're talking about how it had like some sort of a lush quality, I feel like, too.
Yeah. Well, because remember, I actually came to you first. I was like, I need a tremolo, but I need it to have a shimmer.
Right, the shimmer.
Shimmer. Yeah. I was like, I need it. And you were like, what do you mean by shimmer? I was like, I don't know. It's in my brain. And you were like, I'm thinking reverb. And I think you're right, actually.
Really?
When I was reading through the build and the comments and stuff, I think you were 100% right. It is this type of reverb inside there. But it had, my buddy Joe Max sent me that on Instagram, and he was like, hey, check this out. I think this is...
Yeah, Joe Max, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out.
Yeah,
he's my boy, dude. I love Joe Max. Well, I played in a band with him, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Truth Farm. He sent me the video of that, and I was like, oh, my God, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I was looking for.
Right on.
And I want that whole ass pedal for one song and just the verses.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like the chorus lines are just straight rock and roll, and then it goes into that tremolo shimmery thing.
But I mean, I guess the one thing that's cool about pedals too, though, is that like you get it for that one thing, but sometimes it can influence you to do more. In other songs, influence you to write a whole song. And that's one of the big reasons why I like pedals a lot.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes even go backwards.
Right.
Add it to something that's kind of like, it was like kind of cool, but now it's like what it needed to be. Mm-hmm. I love doing that shit.
Yeah.
I love revisiting.
Like experimenting. And yeah, that's why I love pedals.
Yeah. The options.
You can do so many things.
The options get so limitless when you start adding all those options on top of each other. And you have one that I've been eyeballing too, that sub bass, that TC.
The sub and up.
dude.
Yeah, it's sweet. Has a lot of options.
I'm not sure the layman's terms of what's going on with that pedal, like how it's doing what it's doing.
Right.
But when you turn that dude on and you go to like the top string down towards like the 9th to 12th, 15th area, and you just start noodling around, man, it'll set your soul on fire, dude.
I love that thing. I mean, if nobody knows what the 7-Up is, it's an octave pedal that can do polyphonic octaves or a classic monophonic octave. And what I mean by that is in polyphonic mode, you can strum chords and it won't glitch out on you like some of the older octave pedals like a Boss OC2. They're just going to glitch out whenever you do like a D chord or something. It's really useful, in a modern day music sense, really. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. A guy I know that was playing with me for a little bit had one. He got it for his birthday or something. Brought it over, plugged it in, and we were just running through that thing. I was like, dude, the options with this thing are so high.
It's sweet. It has that tone print option too.
Yes.
Where you can you download an app on your phone and you customize your own settings and then you zoom it from your phone into the pedal somehow. So I haven't even tried that yet, but I mean that's crazy though. Like,
welcome to 2019.
I know, man. We live in the future for
we
real.
We actually live in the future. It's so cool. Yeah. Like my supercomputer in my hand told my foot switch thingy to do this other thing, and now it does it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's just like magic. It's sorcery,
dude. It is sorcery. Because imagine just even 15 years ago, that was like 5 pedals.
Oh yeah.
Like you had to have. I can say it because I've said it before. Like the pictures of Korn's like effects pedals, but it was all to like layer stuff. Right. Like they would run like 15 effects at one time, but now you can just have a couple and do the exact same thing. I know. It's like, whoa, we have come a seriously long way. Something popping over there.
Oh no, I heard something pop.
I did too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I think we'll be okay. So. I guess we should kind of like go down the list and maybe like show people like what this does, and then maybe start like, you're the king at this. That's why I was like, when I first had the idea for like an effects episode, I was like, well, there's only one person I know who to call. It's like, this guy knows layers.
Yeah, they know me as the pedal guy at work.
Dude, that's literally, if somebody's like pedal this, I'm like, I should text Chris. Like I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, I'm such a nerd about it. Yeah.
Well, and you understand. That's great point, Chris. That's the chain matters.
It does.
You turned me on to that, and I have never forgotten that bit of information. That's a great piece of information.
Yeah.
When what you start with and what you finish with matters.
Oh yeah.
It's not just throw a bunch of shit on a thing. And
if you really care about what comes out of that amp, then you want to put it together kind of correctly in a default signal path.
Yeah, because I didn't even think, like, I didn't understand what coloring meant.
Yeah.
But like one tone colors the next. So if you're especially if you're running multiple effects, like especially like distortion, but you're running your distortion into something, and then all of a sudden, well, now that signal going into that pedal is distorted.
Right.
Instead of clean and then distorting it after the fact, which would be a cleaner sound.
Right.
Yeah, so like it's hard to wrap your head around all that, especially when you're looking at like 15 freaking pedals. Yeah. So like you have to think, okay, if this distortion hits this delay at this point, that's going to sound like boo boo. So I need to move that over here.
Right.
And like,
and delay is a big one too.
Like
you always want to have that after a distortion pedal.
Yeah.
If you do it before, it's going to sound like crazy. It's going to do all sorts of weird stuff.
Right. It's going to be doing all the weirdest things, like gurgling.
Right.
There's like a gurgle to it.
Oh yeah. And it's going to sound like it's going to never end either. It's
right.
Like blows up because of the distortion.
Yeah, dude. So like I've always thought about that stuff too. Another good way to do it is to, what I feel like is, before you add the Velcro and the zip ties and the screws and all, lock that bitch down.
Right.
Kind of like just set it up there, or even set it on a table.
Right.
Like in line.
Just like lay it out. Yeah. There's actually a site that I use online. It's called pedalboardplanner.com.
Oh, there you go.
It's made by the guys that make the pedal tray and pedal boards, which is what I have right here.
I have one too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's all I've been using.
Good
but
shit.
I mean, yeah, you can get on there and they have you can put pedals on each board, like digital little pictures of pedals on the board. And,
really?
Just lay it out like that. Yeah, I mean, they have most pedals on there that you could think of. it helped me lay out this board.
Minus all the boutique stuff, right?
Well, no, I mean they have a bunch of stuff
really
on there.
Even
yeah,
that
they
stuff?
have like just about everything.
Oh shit!
So it's really nice, you know. So you can get the actual sizes.
Actually, hold on. Say that one more time.
Pedalboardplanner.com.
Pedalboardplanner.com.
Yeah, made by the guys at Pedal Train.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pedalboard Planner. Sorry, I'm a slow speller.
Are you good?
.com. I will be visiting that for sure.
Oh yeah.
I have about 3 pedals I want to get. I want that sub up.
Mm-hmm.
I want that Keeley, that tremolo pedal. And I don't know why, but something in me wants like a space kind of pedal. I've been seeing a lot of that come around where it actually isn't like your guitar coming through. It's like a spacey kind of, and like the note you hit, almost like you're using a what's that?
Like an EBO?
Like an EBO.
Yeah.
But like it's a pedal version, but it's like spacey sounding. Yeah. So depending on where you go, it'll like hum in like a violin or a cello and then hum out to the next note. Mm-hmm. That seems very useful in my brain.
Like an ambience.
Yeah, dude. Really I'm a huge fan of doing like I love sampling. Like I love having samples in a live show. You know, we've been doing it
for real.
Yeah. I've literally been having samples since when me and you were playing together. Right. I'm like, yeah, dude, we should do this. We had that Johnny Cash one. That was one of my earliest ones. And now we're using. I tend to try to make my own now because it's just fun. Yeah. I get on my GarageBand app and just start fucking with shit and turning knobs and go, oh, that sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. But I'm also a massive fan of doing your own.
Write your own samples.
Write your own samples and like doing them live. Mm-hmm. So like you're not really, especially in Lame Johnny, because I sing the whole time. Mm-hmm. And man, you gotta know when you've done too much. So you plan out your set, and you're like, here we need to stick something so I can have some water or whatever. Like here we need to stick something because just all that stuff. You have to think ahead. And I fucking love when we do. I love more doing my own shit than like things that I built. I still built those, but I love like the playing them or like having like the bass and the drum do something,
Right. Yeah, rather than just like playing it over the loudspeakers.
Right. And you're totally a guy for that whole end of stuff because you are the king of noise.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, I think so. But what is... Oh, shit! There's
some bad cables.
There's a musty cable.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's hard to keep track of with such a big pedal board.
Dude, I literally, after the last show when I didn't pack up because I was announcing the raffle, but when the show was over, we were, everybody hanging out or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, yo, those cables have got to go. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about going to the straight up coupler.
Oh, yeah. Like, those are cool. Yeah, I've been getting into making my own, like getting those solderless cable kits.
Oh, where you just pop it in and screw it on?
Pretty much put them together. Yeah, there's a trick to it, and I've tried it before, but I just need to do this whole board with it. Haven't done it all yet, but I mean, those are sweet.
Do you think you'd prefer that? Like, you think the strength would be there?
I mean, I haven't done it enough to really know, but the concept is really cool because you can make exact lengths of the cables, so you can get them really close together on the board and just create more pedal board real estate,
which is expensive.
Yeah, like getting a solderless cable kit, like those are pretty up there. Yeah,
and as far as like that's a good one too. Cabling, I feel like for new guitar players, it's like new drummers. Like, yeah, you can buy cheap cymbals, but hitting the middle of the road is always the better option. Okay. Like I feel the same way with cables. Like, don't buy the blue off the rack. Like,
yeah,
you have to like you have to go at least in the middle.
Right.
Like if the most expensive thing's $100 and the cheapest thing is fucking $5, get in that like $45 range. Right.
Because that's worth it. Because if you don't, those cables are just going to wear out like really quickly.
They wear out and they just there's a hum about them. Mm-hmm. They just sound like shit. They use cheaper metals. They use cheaper solder. Like I think there's a lot of things that people just don't really. Right. Maybe they just don't know, or maybe they just don't think about. Like a cable's a cable. Like, you
got to explain that to a lot of people in my job.
I bet you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You explain it, especially if they're recording. Like if you're recording, you want the best.
You want the best. Hit the $100 because you don't want a single bit of hum. Because you don't. I getting into recording, that's why I actually have all this shit, is because I thought I wanted to record shit, then I realized I suck. But you learn stuff, and what I did learn was, man, even though it's not humming when you play it, well, when they stop, and even though there's more music going on, now you're having to go through and cut all that noise out, because when it layers on, you're essentially adding decibels, unneeded decibels, to a mix when the goal is to get a flat decibel range, so you can eventually master it and pump it up. Sure. But it gives you basically, they call it headroom. So you're fucking with your headroom. Right. You're creating more noise, and you only get limited amount. Mm-hmm. I think they're up to, well, mine goes to 96, but I think they're past that now. And that's basically just how large you can make the peaks. Right. And, I
don't know a whole lot about that.
Right. I know I'm probably talking fucking gibberish to most people, but I'm trying to say, like, that noise, when it's on there, even if you can't hear it, the computer can. Right. So it's adding that to your headroom, your usable headroom. So you have to knock all that shit out to get a better, flatter signal. So you can, when you get to that master fader, the most important guy at the end, and then you're shipping that shit off, they're not sending it back to you like, dude, I need more space. Right. I can only boost your shit so much because it's already too much shit in there. Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way for sure when I first... we'll call it an album that I tried to like master. I was sitting at like over 26, like past 0, which you don't even want to go past 0 at all. Right. Yeah. You want to be coming in much under that. So
it was like you were getting gain out of it.
Oh,
like,
dude, so like much noise and just bullshit.
Kinda.
And it was just from not knowing,
Right.
I'm cranking everything. I'm just like, yeah, loud is good. It says it's at 0, but all those zeros added up equal a fuck ton. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just something to think about for people out there. And, it does matter live too, because there's nothing worse, or at least to probably like me and you, like being seasoned, like stage performers. Right. More to the performance aspect. When you need it to be quiet, you want it to be quiet. Right. You don't want that
you don't want some stupid hum in there, and you don't want a cable going out on you live, because that sucks too.
It just happened, and it was the fucking worst.
I know. I hate that shit.
Hey, let's get a sold out fucking show and fuck up completely.
Yeah. but the truth of the matter is that happens, you know what I mean?
It does, and everyone was sports about it. Most people you could see laughing, but from a performer, you're mad at yourself.
Right.
You're
you're always.
Dude, I could have done
critical,
Right. Like it's like, fuck me, the world is going to die now. Right. It's all over because of this stupid cable that I could have spent $30 and fixed, but I just let it go.
Yeah, it just happens,
What do you think about this? Is I'm trying to get all the useful information out of the way while my brain has the capacity to get it out. And I wanted to ask you this because I actually have a pedal out there in my jam space. As far as like we're talking about guitar, but there's another end of this too, the bass guitar.
Oh yeah.
So what is there a realm that bassists need to stay in, or when say I'm a bass player, budding bass player, and I come in and I'm like, dude, I want a distortion and I want a reverb and I want a delay. Do you send them to like, is there specific pedals just for bass since the signal's so much different? Or?
I mean, they make bass pedals that I haven't looked a lot into it, but I guess they take low frequencies a lot better. Right. But I mean, Aaron Wolf.
Yeah.
I mean, he used, like a lot of regular guitar pedals and stuff.
Okay.
I think the only bass pedal he had on there was a Tech 21 Sans Amp, which I think every bass player should own.
If you don't own a Sans Amp, that's a great statement. Yeah. We have a Sans Amp as well.
Yeah.
The best way I ever heard it put was from a documentary about a famous recording studio, and the guy's talking, and they were talking about bass tones, and he goes, every record you've ever heard, if it's your favorite bass tone, it came from a Sans Amp.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I looked into it, and I'm like, oh shit, he's right.
Right.
Everyone who's anyone is using a Sans Amp.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, basically that'll emulate like an SVT Classic.
Oh, dude,
an Ampeg SVT Classic.
And when you have that on an Ampeg SVT Classic,
yeah, exactly,
it's just even more ridiculous. Yeah. That's what we rock now, and it is just with a Fender P bass. Cody was just in there, just bought it from Guitar Center.
That's badass,
dude. Yeah. We hooked it up. Shit, when did we practice? Wednesday.
Yeah,
dude. I swear to you, I've smiled so big. I was like, I have not heard bass tone that fucking good in this room in so long. And
it's a classic, man. Yeah.
You got to think, the last time I heard bass tone like that was with Aaron.
I know. Yeah, that dude's rig is ridiculous.
Dude, that was 12 years ago.
I know. Yeah, he still has all that too.
Right. Yeah. Well, Earl's tone was really awesome, but he rocked that acoustic gear.
Right.
And then there's actually a big difference, I think, between the acoustic tone and the Ampeg tone.
Oh yeah.
Which those are two of like the classic daddies that kind of like, duke it out over like the bass.
Right.
Because acoustic was big in like the 70s, I think.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, for sure.
Then Ampeg came around, but basically now it's just Ampeg stack, fucking Sans amp, and a P bass.
Right.
Best tone. Like
pretty
you got
much.
it. You nailed it in. Yeah. So but yeah, I didn't realize that Wolf was doing just
like
straight
mostly
up guitar
pedals. Yeah. I mean they sell.
Do you think it really matters?
I mean, honestly, not a whole lot really. I mean, if you maybe with compressor pedals, I think every bass player needs a compressor. But if you get a bass compressor, it usually has a lot more options for it.
Right, because there's a lot more frequency range.
Right.
Because you can go from the lowest low and then rock down to the EAD, G, and go all the way up to the lowest fret, which would be the highest sounding, and fucking ping, 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 ping,
right,
and then you're dealing with a frequency range
a whole bunch. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't even know what that would be.
Right,
but like fucking 5K to fucking 50K or something. I don't even know, dude.
But I mean, I don't know. A lot of pedals, like, I mean, I don't think it really matters if you have a guitar delay pedal or, I mean, like
you think it handles the signal
enough
to like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not a bass player, so I haven't really messed around with like, pros and cons of having a bass pedal versus a guitar pedal. I remember A and B them. But
might be something to look into.
Just for fun, for real. Like honestly,
just to look into,
just to see if it actually sounds better.
Because I had a out there, we have a bass. It's an overdrive pedal, and we did actually do we did the Orange Boss, which I actually liked. But then we did the bass pedal. Oh shit, I'm spacing what it was.
Is it a Boss one?
No, it's not a Boss. It's the silver and green. It's got like a silver body. Like the dimensional parts are silver, and then there's a green face on it.
Is it man? That might be like the Electro-Harmonix, like
that's
big,
it.
Like the
bass
Big Muff.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Man, I don't know if maybe it's just because the Electro-Harmonix pedal's better, but there's just something about the way it rolled off the distortion, like at the right time.
Right.
You could like the Boss distortion, the notes kind of fluttered together. You could make them out, but they kind of ran together. But there's something like that muff kind of took that out, and you could hear the individual notes.
It does kind of make sense for like drive pedals like that, being associated with bass, just because they can take those low frequencies better.
The load,
right?
The load is huge.
I don't know if just having like a modulation effect, like a chorus or a phaser,
right,
like,
or a delay,
without A being those, I really wouldn't know, just because I mean they're just little effects, but definitely with drive pedals I can totally see that.
Actually that does make sense, because what is a delay anyway? All it is repeating the signal it's getting, so no matter what the frequency range, it's just a repeater,
right? It just repeats what it's hearing, really. Yeah,
interesting. So we're discovering things.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
I'm learning. Now with the reverb though, well, no, that's basically the same thing.
Basically, like a reverb is basically a whole bunch of delays.
Right,
like a whole bunch of them just like repeating itself,
and it just like because that's what that's technically an echo or a reverb. They're almost identical, and that's why most things come with echo, reverb, delay.
Right,
like, it's like a standard switch on like your.
I mean, you can create a reverb on a delay pedal.
Yeah,
your just time has to be really, really fast on it,
and you're essentially, because like think about like screaming into a hallway. The only reverberation you're hearing is because it's bouncing off so many surfaces.
Right.
Wow, look at there.
There you go. Yeah, learning new things.
Damn.
There's so much to know out there with all this stuff, I guess.
There is a lot to know, and there's a lot to gain from it, though, too. Gain. Because, it opens up, and to me, especially being like back in the day of a purist mindset, sorry, excuse me. I was so just anti sticking shit in between your signal,
right?
And
You're
the
like
amp.
more meat and potatoes.
I was a very meat and potatoes guy, you know. Like I still am with stuff, but I really have to give it to you for like
getting you into like pedals and stuff.
Well, yeah,
like that.
because me and you back then, we would butt heads, and you would have a way of saying something, and I would be like, "Oh fuck, okay." Like,
you're right.
I get it. I'm mad, but you're right. Like,
yeah, understanding.
Yeah, like you know, and then that's when I really started getting into like the head matters.
Yeah,
the speakers matter.
Right.
The fucking signal chain matters, but you can make it good.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually make a good. I think what probably did it, dude. What made me a purist is back in the day when I started playing guitar was like 1998 ish.
Oh yeah,
and that's when those digital effects were first kind of coming on the scene a little bit. Like.
Yeah.
They were out there, but they weren't what they are today.
No.
There's no. I mean, people listening, if you're young, you would never know the horror we had to go through.
Yeah, for real.
So, like, I think they were just so shitty that I just was like, well, all effects are stupid. I equated the shitty, cheap shit I bought to the expensive shit, but even the expensive shit back then was just slightly, really, in my opinion, better.
Right.
You know, it took a lot to get where we are now, where now it's just like, oh my God, you got
pedal boards everywhere.
Dude, everybody has a fucking pedal board. It's a
know.
huge deal right now.
It is, yeah.
And boutiques are blowing the fuck
They
up.
are. Yeah, like Guitar Center just started selling JHS
That's
and
yes.
Earthquaker and Walrus Audio.
Not to mention, those guys are forcing the hand of these, I don't want to call it stagnant.
Right.
But Boss basically made the same 12 pedals for the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't change shit.
Not a whole lot, really.
Not really. I mean, a couple of tweaks, you know, like a couple of design changes. Maybe they add a knob or something or take away something.
Right.
But really, you know, you buy a 94 and a 2013, and it's like, this is damn near the same shit.
Like that DS1, that thing's been the same thing for years.
It's literally as long as I can remember.
Yeah. It's just been those 3 knobs. Yeah.
Dude, even the delay, they keep going up in numbers, but it's still essentially the same pedal with
like some more features. Maybe.
Like slightly more options.
Right.
It's like when you buy a 2015 and a 2016 GMC, it's like, oh, the sunroof sparkles now.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, just like slight tweaks.
Slight little tweaks just to get you back in the store and get you that new hotness.
Pretty much for all us nerds, you know.
Yeah, but I love that those guys are out here doing that crazy shit, and then these big companies are like, fuck, we're losing money to these tiny little, literally out of the house companies.
And they're making it big right now.
Dude, there are so many companies. It's like, do you remember the when me and you were playing together, so would that be like 08, 09 era? Yeah. The I guess you'd call it boutique, the independent drum companies were coming up.
Yeah,
huge.
like
Truth and what was that? There was another damn it. I'm spacing so hard right now. They're fucking huge now. Oh my God. Anyway, like Orange County Percussion, they all started getting big.
Yeah.
And damn, I'm coughing. So they all started getting big, and then, you know, the bigger companies, like, dude, now a fucking PDP sounds ridiculous. $500, some Evans EC2s, and a fucking decent $600 cymbal pack.
Yeah.
Bro, that sounds just as fucking good as a $3,000 drum set from 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like DW makes now. Yeah, PDPs have come a long way.
Dude, I play a PDP.
Yeah.
You sold it to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, I love that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I beat the shit out of it. People, I had Jared Ives. Can you, at the show, I was doing my sound check, and he was like, can you tune it any lower? I was like, it's vintage.
Jesus, Jared.
Yeah.
Tight, though.
Yeah, no, yeah. But, you know, like those things, I feel like those pedal manufacturers are forced in these guys' hands, and it's, for the consumer, it's win-win.
Right.
We're winning, because now Boss, they have to keep that price tag. Because they're for the masses. Right. Ain't nobody buying a $300 Boss pedal.
But like, since, you know, certain other pedal companies have come out, you know, like I don't know if you know a whole lot about Strymon, like that boutique pedal company has become huge.
My friend Seth is a huge into Strymon, and he sends me stuff. I think he actually has one of their shimmery delay pedal things.
Yeah, I mean, they have this, you know, one of their cream of the crops is called the Timeline, and it's basically just a delay machine. And whenever they came out with that, you know, it was kind of like the leader in the industry for delay pedals. And, you know, it's like a $500 pedal, right? You know, so a lot of people can't really afford that. So Boss saw that, And then they came out with their own delay pedal that's almost just like that Strymon called the DD500, and it's about $200 cheaper.
See,
you know, so it's like, you know, they're seeing like all these boutique pedal companies come out with stuff, and it's kind of influencing these bigger companies to
right.
Yeah.
Part of me being a local business supporter, I love local businesses so long as they're good. Like a small guy, I love the little guy. You know,
for real.
I like to give my money to, you know, people where it matters. Like, boss, you've made your money.
Yeah,
you know,
they've been around forever, and I mean they're a trusted company,
and they are still doing good things. And I still have a boss pedal. Like, I'm not shitting on them.
Oh yeah, no.
But you know, when it comes to, can I get the, what is it called, Strymon?
Yeah.
If it comes to, if I ever had that kind of fucking extra money, if it comes to getting the Strymon or the copycat from Boss, I'm probably gonna get the Strymon,
right?
Because they did it first,
right?
It's their thing. That's what I want.
Exactly.
It's like it's like when genres of band, people ask me why I don't listen to a lot of music. It's like, okay, think about the 90s. Think about all the fucking grunge bands. Okay, now take the ones who started it and did it best. Those are the fucking two I listen to.
Right.
I don't need to listen to all of them.
Right.
You know?
Because those are the guys that did it and did it well and inspired a whole generation of bands.
Exactly. And yeah, no, I'm not calling anybody a copycat. We were all influenced by
it.
I'm fucking heavily influenced by that generation of music and all the shit that was going on that time. Because, you know, not at that time you had like, oh, man, the 90s were such a fucking phenomenal.
I know.
The airwaves were just boosted with literally something from everything.
Right.
But getting back to the pedals, I like to tangent.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, let's tangent.
Getting back to like the pedals and the signal chaining and like companies building X, Y, and Z. I think like really there's like what are like the basics, like a reverb.
Basics, like, you know, I guess most guitar players would want to have, you know, some sort of a distortion or overdrive, you know, depending on whether you play like blues or hard rock or whatever, or, you know, metal. I think most guitar players would probably want some sort of a delay pedal.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are, you probably want a reverb, some kind of a chorus. You know, if you're into like some sort of like more psychedelic, more crazy stuff, maybe a phaser, you know, maybe a flanger. Tremolos. But I mean, I guess, you know, for the majority of people, you know, definitely, you know, you want an overdrive in there. You know, especially if you're not using overdrive on your amp.
Yeah, I feel like overdrive is like the king of pedals.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's thousands out there.
Because even the one I have, which is the one you have. Oh no, you have the one below me, same brand. You have the one before the one I have. Because they remade it or whatever. That's what you were telling me.
Yeah.
The OCD, but I wouldn't mind having like 3 or 4 distortion options, like overdrive options.
Oh, yeah.
Like a bluesy one for a part, or like a really elevated, like a fuzz for another one, which I would love to have a fuzz.
That's kind of what I have going on here too. Like I have one pedal that's kind of set to like more of a lower gain, like a, you know, more of just like a kind of a crunch.
Right.
And I have another pedal set to a higher gain, and then I can stack them.
Right.
You know, and get like, you know, real big, like full sounds.
Yeah. You were doing that earlier when we were testing. I was like, what's the loudest thing? And you were like, oh, this, click, click, click.
Right, exactly. Yeah, just stacking them up. And that's typically what I do most of the time for most of the songs I've been writing now. Stacking your drive pedals.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
I think a lot of people are doing that right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you just got to find the right match, too. I mean, I've been through a whole bunch of drive pedals, and I'm kind of stuck with this OCD and this Game Changer. It's made by Barber. That's also a hand-wired pedal, too. Yeah. Also have this Earthquaker Dream Crusher fuzz. It's basically a fuzz face.
I have heard of that. I've seen. Yeah. I think I've seen that pedal more than one place. Yeah. I think that's a popular one.
They're cool.
I like the Rat.
Oh yeah,
I like that one. Rat's cool.
Oh yeah, that's like an '80s staple for real. Like so many '80s bands in like late '70s. There was like the Rat was huge,
man. My buddy made a Rat clone, and I was messing around on it, and he did another fuzz kind of style pedal that was like kind of like similar to that, but like a little bit more. I guess you'd call it like chunky or ballsy.
Yeah,
you know, it added a little more oomph to the bottom end. I love those fuzz pedals, man. When you go to like those top notes, it's almost like a bass guitar.
Right. Yeah.
You're just like,
yeah.
it is just like, damn, what is happening right now?
Yeah, but those have the hardest clipping distortion for real.
They really do.
The fuzz pedals, whenever you actually crank them up like that.
Oh my God. I remember watching a 2-piece. It wasn't 68. It was something my friend showed me on YouTube. And I was like, dude, how is all that sound coming out of those 2 fucking people?
Yeah.
And he was like, fuzz pedal, dude.
Yeah, really?
I was like, that's when I was like introduced to like how you could really crank that shit up.
Oh yeah.
And just get the real nuts out of that pedal.
Out of it.
Real dirty, man. His tone was impeccable. I don't know what he was playing through. You couldn't really see. It was a live video.
But he was trying to make up for it having no bass.
Probably. Right. That's what he was doing. That's exactly what he was doing. Same thing. I think a lot of bands are doing that. The 68 approach.
Oh yeah.
Which they weren't the first to do it either. They're just one of the many bands, the 2-piece bands that are out there doing that thing.
Right.
Even Lame Johnny kind of steals from that mantra, but we have a bassist.
Right.
Because I don't want to write stuff like that, so you kind of need a bass player because I want to like a little bit more punk inspired.
Sure.
More bar chords and stuff. Yeah. And sometimes with those pedals, a bar chord gets a little bit, if you're not doing like the single note stuff, the bar chord gets a little lost.
Yeah. I feel that just because it's so fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just like, well, that second finger kind of pointless. Yeah. You know, you can just lift that off there and that top string's going to take care of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Plus, just having a third person's kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
You get to fucking pal around or whatever.
Feels fuller.
Yeah.
I think so.
And it adds more to, just like I'm a huge fan of dynamics. So like, if your bass tone's coming down with the guitar tone, you don't really have an option to have a bass centric part, which we have 2 or 3 songs now that are, I'm not doing anything. So the bass is driving the song.
Right.
So like, it's kind of like another option to be like, here, you take this, let me do my thing and you do your thing. And the rhythm section can have this part of the song.
Right. Yeah.
Which, dynamics.
Yeah, for real.
So let's get into some of the playing bits. It might be kind of hard for Chris to speak and play. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Yeah, we're going to try this. This is a very fresh new idea here on the podcast. I kind of want to get this going and maybe have like some acoustic acts and stuff. Like this is something I've been wanting to try for a while. Right. And thanks for being, helping me guinea pig it out.
For sure. Yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah. So we'll just start with like standard whatever you want to do.
Okay.
We'll just kind of go over it.
Go from there and kind of talk about each pedal.
Kind of talk about each pedal, and we'll just go through it and show people what we're talking about. Think of this as like a how-to. Ooh.
Right. It's like got a clean tone here. And so the first pedal on my chain's it's a JHS buffer. They call it the little black buffer. If people out there don't know what a buffer is, basically it's really good for long pedal chains because there's so much cabling involved that you can lose your tone in a big pedal chain like this. So what a buffer is going to do is it's going to push that signal through all these pedals so it kind of sounds like you're plugging into an amp just with one guitar cable. So that really helps with a board of 15 pedals. So you can, clean your tone up a bit, don't lose a lot of high end and everything. So that's the very first thing in the chain, number one. Second thing in the chain I have is it's this Earthquaker Dream Crusher fuzz that I mentioned earlier. Kind of emulates a fuzz face. Pretty cool sound. Get really fuzzy, I like that pedal a lot. It has a lot of mid-range to it, a lot of high-end for real, so it kind of cuts through the mix really well.
I hear that.
Yeah, I haven't used it a whole lot lately, but yeah, I really like that one a whole lot. Can get really loud too. Yeah, for real. So that's also a germanium circuit fuzz pedal, and so you really want that before a lot of buffered pedals. I said that the buffer was the first in my chain, but I really meant the fuzz pedal was the first in my chain. For some reason, if you put a germanium fuzz after a buffered pedal, it just doesn't sound correct.
You think, does it just boost the output too much? Maybe.
I guess so. Like I haven't even really read into that
almost
a whole lot.
Almost like a supercharger.
Yeah, like I just read that you're supposed to put germaniums after or before buffered pedals.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's weird.
Well, this is the first time I've even heard of a buffer pedal. So
oh, for real? Yeah. With people with more than maybe 5 pedals on a board, you probably want to get a buffer.
Shit! So I'm probably gonna have to get that too then, because I'm at 5 right now.
And I mean, you know, the little like buffer, it's pretty affordable. It's like $60.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've just never I never knew what the hell it was.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really helps for just long signal runs. You know,
right.
It just don't want to lose like a lot of high end to where it's kind of muddy sounding. You know.
Right. It's all about like keeping your tone going like a drive. You know? Like
keeping it clear.
Right.
And, just not letting pedals and a lot of cabling get in the way. Because, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, all this cabling and then all the inputs and outputs. I mean,
every point is a bottleneck.
Right.
And then you have to ramp that back up to get out and then slow it back down to get in and all that stuff. But also, it's kind of hard to describe it. Like, this is all just electricity.
Right.
So the way electricity works is the longer it goes, it dies off into the cable.
Right, exactly.
So what this is basically doing is amping up the electricity to make it through all that shit at the same consistency.
Exactly.
So if you think of like water pouring through a spout, and you want it to come through all the same spouts, you'd have to have something forcing it down like a plunger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, like all this cabling and inputs and outputs, I mean, it's probably like a 100-foot cable.
Exactly, which you're not supposed to use. No. So you would have to have something, I think, was it Hendrix that was famous for having like a 75-foot cable?
Like a coil cable.
That coil cable.
Yeah.
But I don't think they, maybe they did realize, I don't know, but that coil adds. Like, it's a 20-foot coil. Well, it's actually like 40 feet of cable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the more cable it is, the less you're going to have your tone.
Yeah,
the way you want
by the time it hits the amp, it's going to be very decayed and worn out.
Right.
And by the time the amp has to boost that worn out signal, it's going to be poppy, probably kind of shitty sounding, really.
Yeah, like
weak.
just muddy, just because you're not getting all the mid range and the high end that you want. The high end's gonna roll off with all that cabling,
right? Because the low end's gonna take charge because it's like the bully of the tone,
right? Pretty much.
Like another thing I learned in recording was instead of boosting something to get the low end to peak out, just turn down something,
right?
Because it's there. Yeah. Just pull shit down instead of boosting up. Like to get over your lows. Pull the low down. Don't drive the highs and mids up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, just bring it down.
That's actually just that's just a good fucking tip, really. Amps in general and too. Like don't just, my lows is where I like it. Let me crank the mids and highs. No, actually, why don't you roll that back and then match the mids and highs to where it's like a nice uniform tone.
Yeah. So you don't get like, crispy highs, that are going to be like piercing, if you get it up too much.
There's like those high gain guys. Yeah. They run that Mesa with everything flipped to the fucking right.
Exactly.
It's like that old Metallica way of doing things.
I'm pretty sure, that's how like Slayer runs their stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Whoo, it's a bit much.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But yeah, basically one of the biggest tips I can ever make to anybody, up at the store or anything is the shorter the cable, the better. Yep. If you don't need a 30-foot cable, then don't get one. For real.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just running it, like a 10-foot cable to my board, and just depending on where my amp is, like I might run and I'm also using Mogami cables. Those are the best.
I love, Mogami. Yeah. All these mic cables are Mogami.
Oh, for real? Yeah. And it really matters. I mean, I haven't had to replace these Mogamis, in years, probably 5 years.
Dude, I will say I think they're better than Monster cables.
Oh, yeah, for real. I think, too. I mean, it's a small Japanese company. But, I mean, I'm just running a 10-foot cable, and then just depending on where my amp is, usually a 10 or a 15-foot cable to my amp.
Right.
But with that buffer, I mean, it really helps, and the good cables from Mogami really help, too. You're not having those shitty, like, blue cables like you were saying.
Yeah, I got about 2 of those in my chain. I got to get them out of there, dude.
For real. But I mean, I guess moving along to this next pedal. Right. The next pedal on the chain is a compressor. It's a kind of a classic pedal. It's the Keeley 4-knob compressor. I've had this for a while. I leave it on usually all the time whenever I'm playing live. It's just a really smooth compressor. If a lot of people out there don't use compressors, like I recommend it a lot just because of how much more studio quality your tone is whenever you have it on. It just smooths everything out.
Well, yeah, that's because in a studio they're using compression on basically everything.
Pretty much, yeah. And so,
every channel is going to have some form of compression. And to those of you who don't know, think about it like this: like compressors are taking your peaks and your like your highest note, like your loudest note and your quietest note, and they're getting them closer together.
Right.
So what that does is think about it like, I guess what I've heard described as like duct tape. You can take a strip of duct tape and lay it out, and you see all those veins in the duct tape. Think about if there was like little hair sticking out of that. You want to compress that back down into the duct tape so it's like a uniform line.
Just a very solid volume level.
And you don't have to do that when you want to be somewhat dynamic, but a compressor can take like a loud part but pull that super low part up to that.
Right.
So like everything is a little bit more uniform, like you said, smooth. It's
very good for lead lines.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, which is like a lot of what I do anyway. But yeah, really good for lead lines. I use it a lot whenever I'm doing swells with my volume pedal. Just really smooths everything out. You know, it's guess I'll turn this on. It's my clean tone right here. Yeah, it's just real like clean and poppy sounding, which is another thing that a lot of times compressors do, is it adds some attack to your picking. And I mean, I'm picking, soft and hard. It's just all as one uniform volume. But I mean, yeah, the Keeley comp, that's like one of my favorites for sure. I don't even have it set up to where it's compressing a whole lot.
You don't need a whole lot, man.
You don't.
You really don't.
Not unless you're like a country chicken picker. Like chicken pickers love compressors.
Fair.
Just because they like, it just adds so much attack. You can really hear that pick going.
Right.
For real.
Anybody ever told you you're a damn good guitar player?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
I'm over here just like bobbing my head like, yeah,
I better be good, man, after 20 years. Like, if I'm not okay, there's something I'm doing wrong.
Well, me and you've been playing the same amount of time. Right. I know bar chords.
Oh, yeah, Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's your job, too.
I guess so. Yeah, pretty much for me to do that.
Being a badass helps.
But hey, sorry to cut this, but I got to take a piss really bad.
No, go for it, dude.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, well, we don't have to cut it. I can talk. If you go, I'll talk by myself. If you go through this door, you've been here. Shit, dude. To the left. No, but if you, so like what Chris is saying, I'll just harp on the compression a little bit more. If you go, sorry, I am coughing a stupid amount right now for some reason. I have no idea why. I apologize. And my cat's in here. But if you're like thinking about compression and gain and like the attack he's talking about, like you can actually sometimes when you compress something or limit something, you're taking, like we're saying, like your peaks and valleys, and you're making them closer together. You don't want to get them smashed. Like you never want to. Well, some people do. Kind of modern recording techniques, they smash it with a compressor, and it's just like it's all one solid fucking line of noise. And that's not my favorite. I actually like an album with a little bit of up and down. Like when I stick it in a DAW, it shows me a little bit of dynamic range. Like when the song gets loud, it's louder. When the song gets quieter, it's a noticeable drop. Whereas like over compressing something, the softest part of the song is going to be as loud as the loudest part of the song, and it kind of it serves a purpose for, I guess, modern recording. But I kind of kind of an old stickler of sorts. I actually prefer like at least some dynamic range where, it's not all going to be just tonally the same volume across a board, where, it kind of forces you to pay attention, and I like that about songs and the way they used to write music back in the day. You had to, everything was one take. If you fucked up, guess what? Now we have to retake that whole ass song. You didn't just get to cut, copy, paste. None of that shit existed. It was on a fucking tape machine, and they would have to literally cut it with a razor and mark it, and they charged you literally by the edit. So every edit they had to make, that's money in the bank for them, because it was just a ridiculous process to get music onto a recordable medium, whatever they were using at the time, wax disc or whatever. But, you know, so compressors come along and they can jump the tone up, and now we can make shit louder. We can make albums louder. You know, you can look back to like Metallica's albums, and you can look to like even huh? Oh, I don't care. No. So like if you take like even Korn, they were, I think Follow the Leader was like the first album recorded at like 96 hertz, and they are the first band to, or one of the first bands. I hate saying they were the first. They're not the first. They're just one of the first people that did it with 96 kilohertz, you know, and that's why that record sounds so fucking massive, because they took all the headroom available and they recorded everything and they compressed the shit out of it. And then you have this bigger than life sound. And that's when all that stuff kind of started happening. I love compressors. I actually, I have an outboard compressor, which there's a difference between outboard and inboard. So outboard, like what Chris is using, he's outside smoking, so I'm just going to ramble on. Outboard compressor, typically you're going to compress the signal as it's coming in to the DAW. Duh. I mean, I would assume most people would just go, yeah, no shit. So when you're compressing the signal coming into the DAW, it's fun. It's great for vocals, I think, in the modern process of doing things. I use my outboard for vocals, which actually our engineer, DJ, he does all our stuff now. He has it now. And, you know, oh my goodness, I cannot stop. I'm so sorry. Basically, the outboard, you better be damn sure what's going in, because once it's in, there's no changing what you put in there, or you're going to have to retake it. So if you use an outboard compression, much like what Chris is using, essentially the exact same thing, only it's just with just a guitar, not an entire chain of stuff. Like if you're using it on your guitar and your drums and you know, like you put the compressor and you have like 4 or 5 of them, you use them on your overheads and you boost the signal. Well, whatever that signal going in is, that's how the fuck that's just how it is. So a lot of messing around with these kind of things is a really good idea to take. Just take the pedal itself. Don't focus on the other shit yet, but just take the pedal and like learn it. You know, turn the knob all the way up. Fuck it. You know, like just let it scream and just go, okay, this means this. Okay, let me turn that down. Now let me add another knob, well, whatever it would be, like your gain reduction or your gain addition, or if you want more compression, less compression, or if you wanted to add, say if you wanted to add a limiter to it, so you could actually pull the amount of peak down and it would limit it so it's not going to actually clip, but the signal is actually getting louder as you turn your compressor up. Okay, well now it's limited, so let me see how far I can crank that shit till I'm breaking the limiter. And then you really don't want to do that, because then you're going to have what's that fucking I'm losing my own self here. When you break in the limiter, it's the same as just pushing your amp too hard, clipping. There we go. It's going to clip. It's going to sound like shit. So just, you know, mess around, spend 20, 30 minutes, familiarize yourself with every control, and then just find like a nice even balance. Too much of a good thing just with anything, and compressors are fucking awesome. Outboard compressors are some of my favorite things to fuck around with in the studio, because you really get to hear like the like Chris was saying, the meat and potatoes of what it is you're doing. One of my favorite tricks I learned when I was doing recording was I stuck one mic overhead, and I did this technique that I found online. It's single overhead miking. And what I did was, I think it's 46 inches or something like that. I could be mistaken. And you go right in between the kick and the snare, and you basically put it, I do believe it's 46 inches. You go right up above the top there. It's very close to your playing, but just, you know, use your eyeballs, don't hit it. And you play, but when you're using that compressor, man, and you're watching the signal chain come in, that's what we would do. We would hit record and just adjust as needed. And we would watch that signal come in and just watch it ramp up, just get beefier and beefier. And we this is one of my first times using this thing, and we would stop it, and we had a pair of Rocket 6s. Yeah, we didn't have the 8s, we had the 6s, the Rocket 6s. The little yellow ones, damn near everybody has a pair. We went back and we were listening to it, and we were adding, EQ, dropping like the 5,000 range, like dropping that out of the cymbals and stuff to get or is it 4K? The 4K, just it's got like this hissing sound a cymbal makes when it's recorded. It's just kind of like sharp. It kind of pings to the ear. We're pulling that out, and we're listening. We're like boosting a little bit of the lows, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, we can mic this whole drum kit with just a microphone. This is amazing. Like, we don't have to do anything. We ended up spot micing all the other drums, and we did a room mic. We actually experimented around too with some cool shit, like we tried a stereo pair where you set the two it's like an X pattern or whatever, and you pan hard left and right, and then but when you're doing shit like this, you have to make sure everything's equal distance, because you don't want to get phasing issues, which is another just terrifying ordeal when you realize you have a phasing issue and it's already been tracked, and you're just like, oh shit. And some DAWs have a phase shift button and some don't. Like mine is old. I use an old version of Logic, and it doesn't have the phase shift. So you have to like physically go in, find the phase issue, scoot it over till it matches, like change the polarity or whatever it is in the signal. It's a whole to do. Just fucking pay attention, basically. Another cool ass thing. I'm sitting here talking to myself. This is fucking crazy. This is the first time I've ever done this, actually. Not too bad, I don't think. Could be a little better, but there's a first time for everything. Just like this podcast, there's a first time for everything. We're playing real instruments here. I love multiple delays, because every delay has like a little something different. Like he doesn't have one on his pedal board, but me and Justin Cole, we rock his MXR delay. It's just a small green. They have a bigger version. It has like 2 stomp boxes, and I'm not sure what the other one does. I never actually looked into it. We have the smaller version, and then there's an intensify button, and it adds like a depth. There's like a little button for like a depth to the effect. So it would basically be like a reverb button. And you plug into that thing, and you have like this really slow, smooth. Hey, will you let him out? You have like this really slow, smooth sounding delay with like all these. He's fucking being weird. And then you add this. You tap that reverb button, and you're just like, oh shit, man! It really boosted that signal. If he's being stupid, he can stay. Forget him. And you would push that button. So like we leave that button just on there. It just doesn't even go off, because it sounds so much smoother and better with it. Chris is back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry,
bro. I've been rambling. I've been rambling about outboard compression versus inboard compression. I didn't even get to inboard compression. I totally fucking forgot. I have an outboard compressor. Sometimes I rock over at my buddy DJ's house. And I was explaining to people, when you set it, you better be fucking happy with how you set it, because it don't change after the fact.
Right. Yeah, you can't change throughout the recording process. Right. It'll sound weird.
Yeah. And then trying to turn the volume down, and now you're fucking with the whole scheme of how an album's supposed to lay out. You're fucking with the layers. It's like adding 2 layers of sauce in your lasagna. It just doesn't work. Now you just have one thick ass layer of sauce.
Yeah, I mean, if you change the compressor like throughout that's like changing dynamics.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're fucking with the whole dynamic of the thing. Want to guitar up? We'll get back to this battle royale of a ooh.
Oh, there we go. Got it. Cool. I guess I can move along here.
Yeah,
maybe talk about this.
Wait, where were we?
Well, I had just gotten into the compressor. I guess after that, I have the first stage gain. It's the Barber Gain Changer. It's a hand-wired, handmade boutique pedal. I have this kind of set to like a lower gain setting, I think. I'm gonna turn it on right now. Just kind of that slight crunch, It's a really versatile pedal, though. You can, get some pretty high gain out of it, too. has a lot to do on it. But yeah, I mean, I use gain pedals, for different reasons. I mean, sometimes I just want that little crunch. Sometimes I want some high gain, and I'll stack them both.
That low gain setting on that. What was that? What was that pedal called?
It's called the Gain Changer. It's made by Barber Electronics.
Oh,
Barber,
man.
BARB.
That low gain was fantastic.
I know, it's sweet.
Now, could you layer that with the OCD and have like a slightly
real
boosted
full sound? Oh yeah,
really?
Really boosted sound. Yeah, so with the OCD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's really what I have. All my drives are always these two stacked together. And then sometimes I'll cut off the OCD and just have the gain changer there. But with both of them on it, just really like thickens things up and produces a pretty high gain sound. Just really nice. Man, I love that OCD. That's the second one I've bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you burn one up?
No, man. I guess a good story is like a few years back, I was living with an ex of mine, and we lived in this house in North Little Rock. And one day I was playing in the living room, and next thing I know, the entire ceiling just collapses around me. And it was a miracle that I didn't hit, because the whole ceiling just collapsed, but most of it landed on my pedal board. And so I think like maybe 4 pedals got damaged out of that, including the OCD.
Dude,
yeah,
how the fuck did I never hear that story?
It was nuts, man.
Was that who I think house?
Well, no. Like I lived with a girl named Nicole for a while.
Oh, okay.
And at her house in North Little Rock, that just totally happened. It was an old house, But the dumb thing about it is that in Arkansas, renter laws are shit.
They're bullshit.
Yeah, they're bullshit. So the landlord didn't do anything about that. They didn't clean anything up, and we just ended up.
Dude, they're literally not required to.
No,
it's bullshit.
They don't have to, and so we just moved out of there.
Your roof almost fucking killed me.
Yeah, and what sucked is she had a 9-year-old kid running around in there, and so
oh my god,
she could have gotten smashed by freaking whatever's in the ceilings. Like
that is utter fucking horseshit.
Yeah, it was stupid. So yeah, that's why I replaced the OCD. I liked it enough to get another one. Yeah,
dude, I love mine. Thank you.
I know.
I fucking that fucking was it called Presence on there?
Well, it's just that tone knob.
The tone knob is so versatile.
I know.
It'll take it from pretty much gargly to just
right, exactly.
Think of like a
super responsive.
Super responsive. Yeah.
Yeah, just rolling it around. Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with this pedal. I mean, it does high gain really well, does low gain. I kind of have both of these set to a low gain. So when I crank them both, it's just brings that real full
Dude, how much sound. Was that Barbara pedal?
The Barber, that was man, maybe 150. I'm pretty sure.
I think I just added another pedal, dude.
Yeah, that thing rules.
That is the shit.
I know. I love this pedal, man. It has that really just nice crunch.
That over just a normal clean.
Yeah,
that's fucking. Oh
yeah,
man.
and and I always have all my amps set on clean, just as clean as I can possibly get them.
Right,
because I like using drive pedals a whole lot.
Yeah, my friend, shout out to my buddy Sean Michelle. He turned me onto that.
Oh yeah,
because I was rocking dirt through dirt.
Yeah,
so I was going through the distorted,
right,
with distortion,
right,
trying to build the two. And he was like, "Nah, dude, just add your pedals, add your gain through these pedals, and then go into your clean channel." And I was like, and he helped me tone out my cap, dude. Because I'm rocking that Egnator Armageddon.
Yeah,
it's got the Celestians on one side and the E, I can't remember on the other side, but dude, holy shit,
pretty sweet.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I fucking love I rock that modern telly.
That one there, the modern. Was that a modern player or
HH? It's got a weird fucking. It's the modern. They don't even make that color anymore. They have a butterscotch, a red, and that's the old green color.
That's not a Showmaster.
No, it's not a Showmaster.
It's something modern something.
Yeah. It's through neck.
Yeah,
and I love that guitar. Me and that guitar, and I love that one too. I think you have one of those, the Nashville.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I love that guitar.
I actually, I fucked that one up. I really need to.
And that's the Nashville, that's
The
Fender
deluxe.
Mexican-made Nashville
Yep.
Telecaster. Yeah,
Yep.
with a
Mexican-made Nashville Telecaster.
much,
Yeah.
Yeah, with the what is that? Oh, you got a humbucker in the middle there.
I got a Hot Rails.
Yeah, stacked humbucker.
Yeah, and it's cool what I did to it, but I wired the 5-way backwards.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So like up is down, down is up, whatever. Really just me being an idiot, but it sounds cool, but I want to keep the lipstick and I want to move that the standard one that's in the bridge right there. I want to move that to the middle and I want to get a humbucker plate and I want to actually put a humbucker in it. Cause I'm a humbucker guy.
Yeah.
Like I just, I love like that one right there has the what is it? P90 or P90, not a P90, oh my God. I've been looking at them. Pearly Gates.
Oh, Pearly Gates. Yeah.
Yeah, it has
Seymour
one of
Duncan Pearly Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that in it, and I'm just a humbucker kind of guy.
I feel you. Yeah. I just like being versatile. That's why I decked out this guitar with like so many features.
Dude, that guitar is sick.
It's sweet, man, and having these pickups in it makes it so much better. Like I have the P rails, Seymour Duncan P rails installed. What's cool about that is it's half a P90 and half a P90, half a humbucker. Yeah, half a humbucker. And so whenever I got these little switches installed into it, they're 2 3-way switches that I had installed on this, and I can go from single coil to P90 to humbucker on each one.
That's so
yeah, so it's just super versatile. It's the most versatile guitar I have.
Did you do that yourself?
No, I had my tech Zach up at work. He did it for me.
That guy.
I know.
I got to get him on here.
I know.
I was up there I literally was buying a fucking input jack, and he was like, dude, and talked to me for like probably an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are blowing my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Are you an electrical engineer? How did you do all this?
He's like a fountain of knowledge. Yeah. I trust him working on all my guitars. He's a really good tech.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
Shout out to him. What's
exactly.
His name, Zach?
Zach, yeah. Everybody go see Zach at Guitar Center for their guitar work. Oh, yeah. You won't regret that.
I mean, just the conversation I had with that guy blew my fucking mind. So
he's kind of like one of those guys that if you talk about anything, he'll like chime in with this like a random piece of knowledge. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, I didn't know that.
All right. So what are we looking at next? Are we at the sub octave?
So next, I have just a really simple pedal here. It's just an EP booster. It's just to boost my clean tone. It's really nice though. It doesn't get dirty at all, which is what I like. I want it simply just to boost my clean signal, get more volume. I don't even have it set to where it's really high right now. There we go. And that's adding some grit right there. I kind of cranked it a little bit. But yeah, it's just a real simple, just clean boost. Yeah, like that a lot.
I think those are important, man. I'm just not a huge clean user.
Right, yeah. I mean, anytime, I have that set after my overdrive. So if I want to go into like some sort of a solo, I just hit that EP booster and it boosts my
I was just about to ask.
My volume.
Oh, okay. So if I wanted to... There's a part in a song where we actually lost some dynamics because we lost a guitar player.
Yeah.
And he would pause for a whole, I think, 16 bars. And then we would come in together with the same note, but it would be louder because now he's in it. Would that be something I could use just for myself where like when that specific part comes up, I could just boost up?
Right.
And like through my OCD?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to put it after the OCD in the chain.
Before the OCD.
Well, no, after it, right? Like
after
in the chain, because if you put it before the OCD, it's going to boost gain.
Oh, right.
So it'll make your gain
more gain. Right.
It'll give you more gain.
Metallica.
Yeah. After it, yeah, right. After it, it'll just boost your volume simply.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever drive is the last in the chain of your drives or whatever is basically that's going to control the volume.
Okay.
What you have. So, you know, the OCD here, like if I have the gain changer and the OCD on at the same time, what's going to control the overall volume of that is the OCD because it's after the barber.
Smart.
Yeah. So yeah, I get the clean boost. I guess next in the chain is that TC Electronic 7-Up, which is really tight. You can get all sorts of tones out of it. Basically, it's an octave pedal. It has 4 knobs. It has a dry signal knob for you to control how loud your drag signal is. Has a high octave knob, a low octave knob, and then the 2 octaves below. It has a knob for the 2 octaves below. So it's like this. and I'm doing chords right now, and it's still doing pretty well. Really cool. You can do some like really sweet organ sounds. I actually have a preset on here right now for just a good organ. Pretty rad. Yeah, pretty sick, man. For real, I love that pedal.
Dude,
you can do a lot with
that. That
it.
is so fucking sick. Oh. Can you toss some distortion on that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it sounds sweet with distortion, really. Pretty sweet with distortion, so man. Yeah, I know. It gives you a ton of that low end for real.
I know people
crank
can't.
The low end, like pretty awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a really. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of like doom metal bands could really use an octave pedal for real.
I know people can't see it, but I'm smiling so big right now. Like that fucking pedal, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That is
you need one.
That is some of the coolest shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a sweet octave pedal. That one and the Pog by Electro Harmonix. That's
really the
cool
other
too.
Big one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other cool one. I mean, this one I think has a lot more features that are user friendly. You know, like you can make your own preset with that tone print.
Well, and I really like the TC pedal line, man. They're doing a lot of cool shit. That Flashback's a dope ass pedal, man. The big one. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of that little one.
The X4 with tap tempo, and you can add presets. Has a looper built into it.
Yes.
Yeah, those things are sick too.
I
actually think that one. A lot of people compare that to the old Line 6 DL4.
Yeah.
The green pedal. But a lot of people ended up having problems with the DL4. The knobs would break, and
I've seen a lot of those with the knobs are off, and so like the guys will have like tape.
Right.
And they'll just be like, turn to this is where it has to be, like Sharpie marker and shit.
I mean, one of the big drawbacks of that DL4 is that, the build quality on it isn't that great. I know a lot of people have had to take that thing apart and fix it like a number of times. And I think the X4, that one's quality is just quite a bit better. I've never heard of a problem with that thing.
That thing is a steel trap.
I know.
Even what TC has done with their stop buttons.
Yeah.
That it's almost like its own it's like its own entity, like like it's boxed into itself,
right?
Like that thing is so strong, and they have that wide mouth screw top on there. The button is smoothed over, it's so like stomping on it, there's nothing really to break,
right? Yeah, it's like a soft it's a soft switch.
Yeah, it's like quick.
It doesn't click whenever you hit it, like a lot of pedals do. It's just like real soft, yeah.
Oh, TC's doing it big.
I know.
They're doing some sweet shit.
Okay, yeah, so I guess next pedal on my chain, we got the Diamond Tremolo. That's a hand-wired pedal, handmade. I've had this for a long time now. Just a real good tremolo with a whole lot of features on it. You can change the waveforms. I'll just turn it on right now. Right now, it's really slow. It also has a tap tempo, which I'm clicking right now, so we can get it to a good rhythm. You can change like the depth of that to where it's like really hard tremolo. Just like that. Or like real smooth, like kind of a vintage tremolo kind of sound. It has a lot of cool features though. It has this I think it's the random tremolo setting. Kind of just crank that depth up really quick. It has like different rhythms built into this thing. It's pretty cool. It's a real nice tremolo. I use that pretty rarely, honestly.
Dude,
but it's sick, though. I always like to have tap tempo with everything. For real.
I feel like when you're really in depth, tap tempo is a huge.
I mean, I don't know. To me, like I don't like.
Especially if you're not playing with a metronome, so you can't set it and forget it.
Well, I mean, if you're playing with a band too, like, I mean, I feel like, especially with delay pedals, having tap tempo is a necessity to me, just because you want to be on time with the band.
Yeah, and
that, as much as I use echoes, like
piggybacking off that point as a drummer. So me and Justin's basically the only guitar I have to have in my monitor mix. So when we have delay parts, and you practice all you want. When we're at the show, as soon as he hits the delay, when I come in, typically on a delay with a band like ours, you'll go into like a halftime.
Yeah.
So when he hits the delay, I have to listen for what it is, because there's no telling if his fat foot moved it or whatever, or if it got bumped.
And you've got to match that.
And I have to, and my next hit has to match the thing. So there's like a lot of, like overcompensating and like really, really trying to listen. So it kind of cuts into like the performance aspect of the show, and you're really trying to pay attention. And then sometimes you just, really, 9 times out of 10, I don't get it till about the third beat. Really? So you're like the first 2 beats are just fucked up.
Yeah, I feel that's why I love tap tempo.
Yeah,
like just you can get it in there solid, and you don't get off time. And I use delay all the time, and so it if I mess up with that, it can be pretty noticeable, I guess. And
right.
So, yeah, I like to have the tap tempo, which makes that tremolo a really good feature full pedal.
That sounded awesome, dude.
I know. Yeah, it's a sweet tremolo. Really. I've had it for a while. I haven't really experimented with.
Where'd you get it from?
Pedals. I got this at the store. Just working at Guitar Center.
Just came in.
Yeah, it just came in. Yeah, that's one of the cool things about working there is you get to see everything first.
That's literally like what I was about to say. Like seeing everything first must be the best.
Oh yeah, no, it is. Like on the majority, I have 12 guitars now. The majority of the guitars I have have been used. Just seeing something that's cool. Like I bought that Nashville Telecaster used up there. What was really cool about that though is it was already modded. It has a piezo pickup underneath the bridge. It's called a Fishman Power Bridge.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing alone apparently is worth $500. Just that power bridge.
Well, I know Fishmen are good shit, man.
Oh yeah, but basically the guy who had it before me put the power bridge in there and then modded it to where he had an extra knob on the control board to where you can blend in that piezo with the regular pickup, so you can get an acoustic sound blended in with the electric sound.
Whoa.
It's freaking sick, dude.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and the acoustic sounds great on it. It sounds like an acoustic guitar. It's awesome. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
I know, dude. Yeah, that makes like I said, I like versatility a lot. So I like to have a guitar that just has a whole bunch of options on it for you to be able to do whatever you want.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your guitar probably has like what, built-in effects too?
Well, no, it doesn't have any built-in effects. It just has, a Jaguar in and of itself has a whole bunch of knobs and switches anyway. But I decided to add those other 2 switches just so I could have the pickup versatility there. Yeah, for sure.
Just trying to get on your level, dude.
No,
just trying to get on your level.
Hey, no, I feel you. Yeah.
Mine have I'm the guy that takes the fucking neck pickup out and just has the bridge and the volume knob.
Well, hey, if that works for you, for sure. Like a lot of times, simple is better. But
I find it's easier for me because I sweat uncontrollably.
Oh yeah.
I'm a fat kid.
Oh, hey man, you're a drummer though. Drummers sweat too. Yeah.
But even playing guitar, I tend to ruin pickups. So my idea is, well, the less shit that's in there, the less shit I have to pay for when I ruin it.
Because you fuck up. Yeah.
Because it's not if I fuck it up, it's when I fuck it up with me. Like that's my mantra is like, well, when it breaks, I'll just fix it then. Like this one now, that's why I was telling you I was looking for the pickups, because I have to buy new pickups for it. They're fucking rusted completely out. They're junk. And the volume pot and the tone pot are just toast.
They're just not working right now.
Oh, dude, if you touch them while you're playing, just just shit.
Yeah, that sucks.
And being live, I'm like, this is tacky, bro.
Yeah. That's what people that play live have to go through a lot of the times. We play live and we sweat all over our instruments, so we have to, replace everything. I
wish for the life of me, and I think someone did an encapsulated pot, man.
Oh yeah.
I think somebody finally made one. I think it's Dunlop. I'm not sure. It's like a big red giant looking fucking thing.
It doesn't fuck up.
But it's got the brushes are encapsulated. Or it's brushless. That's it. Okay. So there's none of that metal on metal contact, I think, is what the deal is. I was looking at them earlier. They're like $25 a piece, which seems outrageous. But hey, for a sweaty fat boy,
so they don't corrode or anything.
Exactly,
that's tight.
So like you don't have to like break out the cleaner and shove it.
Yeah,
you know,
spray some deoxit in there.
Exactly, which I have to do literally once a month.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's bad.
Yeah, acidic sweat.
Yes,
I
have very acidic sweat. Yeah, very bad.
I feel you. Yeah, it's yeah, fucker.
Yeah,
little fucker. Yeah. All right. Well,
okay.
I guess this next pedal, it's I guess most people would call it a chorus pedal, but it can do a lot of things. It's made by Chase Bliss Audio, who's also another hand-wired boutique pedal company. They're actually really popular right now. My buddy Dylan that works over at Guitar Center with me, he introduced me to this. But it's full of shit. I mean, it has a row of like 10 dip switches on the back here.
Oh, that's what those are. I thought that was a logo.
Yeah, they're just like, they're dip switches. You can just, I mean, reading the manual, you can tweak this into doing so many things. I mean, right now, I'm just kind of using it as a chorus, you know? Sounds really, really good.
Dude.
And this also has tap tempo on it, too, for you to tap in the speed of the chorus rate. But, I mean, you can turn this into a vibrato really easily. Like, it's a true vibrato. This is great. I mean, it would take me forever probably to go through this whole pedal and tell you what it does. Dude. But, I mean, I highly recommend Chase Bliss.
Should we explain dip switches? I feel
dip switches. I mean, a lot of pedals have dip switches built into them. If you take the outer casing out, they're inside. But what makes this pedal so cool is they have them all on the outside, and you can just tweak them on the fly. And all of Chase Bliss's pedals have this row of dip switches on the back.
That is fucking awesome.
It's insane. This pedal is like, I think like $350 brand new. Something like that, but I mean, it is worth every penny. I found it used at Guitar Center, of course. Yeah, but I mean, it's freaking awesome, man. I mean, I could play with this thing for hours probably and still not get the full experience of it. So,
basically, a dip switch is like an assignment.
Pretty much.
Like you take basically it looks like most of the transistors in there are assigned to a dip switch. Mm-hmm. So depending on which one you turn off versus which one you turn on, think of it like a bunch of light switches, really.
Right. Yeah.
So and then when everything's on, everything's on.
Yeah.
When you take one thing out, one thing's out. Right. So it that is versatile as
it's
fuck.
Insane, man. Yeah, I mean, they call it the warped vinyl chorus vibrato pedal, but I mean, it can do stuff like tremolo on here. I think it can do some delay stuff.
Dude,
I mean, it's just super cool, and it's really good quality sounding. I love this pedal. I mean, again, I'm just using it for chorus really right now. But
so you're really just selling me on all this, really.
I mean, to be honest, like it's easy to sell this stuff for real. I mean. And being such a pedal nerd that I am, I mean, I've tried to read as much as I can about this stuff here too.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one of my favorite pedals on my board right now, like bar none. Yeah. Oh, and well, I guess before that, I mean, I had a volume pedal that I just kind of skipped, but all that does is it, lowers and maxes your volume out. I use it for swells. I have a Boss. I think it's called the FV50 volume pedal. Smaller than a lot of other volume pedals out there, so it gives me.
Here's a good one. Is it? Can you use it as an expression pedal?
I don't think you can use this one as an expression pedal, which is actually
my Dunlop. You can do it. As
you have like that black one.
Yeah.
I've been actually thinking about getting the smaller version of that. They came out with this mini volume pedal called the DVP4.
Yep.
And I can use that as expression too, which I really want to add to my board. I want an expression pedal.
Explain expression.
So
to
like
someone.
An expression pedal, you would want to. Like for instance, if you hook an expression pedal up to a delay pedal, then you can control certain parameters of that with the expression pedal. So you could set it to maybe increase the amount of delay that you have
over the slant of the pedal.
Right. Yeah, just by like using a volume, just like using a volume pedal where you would do like swells in volume.
Right.
You can use that expression pedal to like swell in more intense delay, or if you hook it up to a chorus pedal, you could speed up the rate of the chorus.
I like it when it's like a reverb.
Yeah.
So like you're adding this intensity.
Right. You add like that depth
instead of like having to like like bend the
Right.
notes, like you're
Right.
like breaking strings. You can just use that expression pedal on
Right.
that reverb and
And it-
add that same kind of
Right.
urgency.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want like a whole bunch of atmosphere at one point, you could just put your put the toe down on the expression pedal, and you have all this atmosphere like
Right.
crazy. If you have it, set to depth on a reverb pedal, for instance.
Here's one thing, if you don't mind, before we get to the next pedal.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of shit as it's coming to
Yeah, you're
mind.
good.
So, what do you think's better, the effects loop or direct in? Like,
Man,
through the
that's
line?
that's kind of a good question
That's
too.
some.
The way I see it is like what the effects loop is it's in the middle of an amp. Basically, it's between the preamp and the power amp of an amp. The preamp is like your gain, that's where your tone comes from, and the power amp is where your volume gets pushed. All that tone, it gets pushed with the power amp to get you your volume. I think the only time you ever really need to use an effects loop is if you're using the gain on that amp. If you use the gain on the amp, then you want to put pedals like delay, reverb, chorus. You want to put those in the effects loop. You don't want to put gain in the effects loop, really. There's no need for it. I mean, I guess the idea behind that is it has a lot to do with, talking about routing your pedal board, too.
Right.
I guess for a lot of people that don't know out there, I mean, there is a good way to route a pedal board. Signal path matters a whole lot. You always want your gain pedals at the front of your chain after your guitar. You always want your reverb and delay pedals at the end of the chain. So it's kind of like if you think about the effects loop in an amp. The effects loop in an amp is after the gain of the amp.
Smart.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
and so if
smart.
you're using that gain on the amp, you want those delay pedals to be after the gain, so you put them in the effects loop. Because if not, it'll be like you're putting a delay pedal in front of a drive pedal on your pedal board, and it'll sound crazy.
And you're fucking up the sound.
And it'll just sound crazy. It'll go insane. So. Mm-hmm.
Oh man! So have you ever? Oh, you're blowing my fucking mind. I've actually always wondered what the fuck even that's for.
Like the effects loops.
Yeah, I've never fucked with one.
It's to put pedals after the gain in an amp.
So if you were to rock, say, you could have one pedal board of like distortion pedals going through the chain into the input, and then another one of all your auxiliary shit going through to the other to the effects loop.
I mean, if I was using an effects loop, I mean, I'm not right now because I run all my amps like clean as I can fucking get them. Right. But I mean, if I was using an effects loop, I would just use the same board. I'd have all my gain pedals, probably everything up to this tremolo right here, and then run everything else in the effects loop. Have a cable running from the input of the first pedal into the send, and the last pedal into the return, and that's it. But it requires more cables. It's a 4-cable setup. You gotta have a cable from the guitar to the pedal board, cable out to the amp, and 2 cables for the effects.
That's a lot of
shit,
shit, dude.
I know, yeah. So I like drive pedals anyway. So I don't really use the gain on my amps.
I'm a huge fan myself. I actually learned to stop using the gain on my amp.
Right, yeah. Sean Michelle.
He showed me the way, brother. He showed me the light, you know?
That dude rules. I see him all the time up at Guitar
Dude,
Center.
his fucking tone, he has a modded Marshall 2x12.
Oh, wow.
It's basically not even a Marshall anymore. Huh. It sounds so fucking pretty. And his, like, he has an intense pedal board, but his is about as much pedals as you have, but on a smaller board.
Right.
So it's just this super condensed, packed in. And I love watching that guy. I know he's my friend.
Yeah.
But like watching that guy, like you'll go to his house and jam and you're just like, holy shit, man.
He knows his stuff, man. He's been around for a long time.
Oh, dude, he's on another level.
Yeah.
Especially since he's the R&B and the blues and the old rock and roll. He's a huge fan of dynamics and like that. He thinks about all those things. Like when something comes down, everything's got to come down, like everything.
Right.
I've seen that guy play live with a band and you're like, fuck, are y'all playing? They're playing so quiet.
Right.
You're just like, dude.
And it kind of builds up.
I just want to shout out to that because what you're saying is like all the things he showed me too. And he was like, you got to stop running your gain.
Yeah.
And you got to go clean, man. You have to. Yeah.
Utilize that clean tone on that amp.
Oh, dude, he literally spent like an hour and a half out here, like trying to like because I just have a what's the solid state orange CR120?
Yeah,
I have that
head.
Yeah, that head, and I go into my Egnator Armageddon, and he literally spent an hour and a half like tweaking my pedals, going through like the signal chain with me, like tweaking my amp head. He was like, we're gonna cut this, we're going to just channel 1 right in the clean, we're coming out boom right here. Dude, he did it all.
Damn.
Like my tone is 100% because of him. Like I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I mean that dude rules, man. Yeah.
Dude, he showed me the ways, man.
Known him for a little bit too. Yeah. For real. Yeah.
So next, after the
so after the chorus pedal, I got my sweet delay pedal here. It's it's called the Nemesis delay. It's made by Source Audio. This pedal packs a lot. There's a whole lot you can do with it. You can use it with a computer and make your own presets too. I haven't done that yet at all, but I mean, you can use this in a lot of ways. Delay is probably, I think, the most versatile, useful pedal on a pedal board. So I have that set, of course, as tap tempo. It sounds awesome, man. Like you can control modulation on this too, so you can get some really lush delay tones out of it. Adding modulation to delay is basically adding like a chorus to the repeats of a delay pedal. But I mean, this has just so many options on it. I mean, I'm on a digital delay setting right now. It has this shifter setting, which is kind of cool.
Is that like a reverse?
It's almost like a reverse. It does have a reverse on here too. It's like it's kind of a fast reverse right now.
Almost like a slap echo.
Almost like that too. Yeah. I mean, this thing has slapback too.
There you go.
Really of course, I have this feedback set pretty high. Here. Not really acting the way I wanted, honestly. Yeah. But I mean, it has a whole bunch of options. You can do the whole dotted eighth U2 thing with this, If I can get that set right really quick.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just like a dotted eighth, kind of like U2 thing. It has a setting for that on here.
Do you...
Yeah, it has a tap setting for that, so you can tap in a dotted eighth now.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sweet. Yeah, really, really useful. Yeah, you can save presets on this thing. I'd highly recommend looking into this, the Source Audio Nemesis delay.
I actually just found out about that dotted eighth literally like 2
really?
days ago.
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago.
It's cool. I mean, I try not to do that too much because, I mean...
Well, you got to be fucking on...
You gotta be on beat,
dude.
For sure.
That's what the video was a guy literally going, when you miss a note in the dotted eighth, and it just... He hit like say he was doing like pretty chords and then went to a bad chord.
Right.
And it just went, wow, 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 wow. And he just like, he was like, it affects you.
Oh, yeah.
Your whole day. It fucks your whole day up, basically, is what he was saying.
You fuck that up, and it's totally noticeable.
You fuck up a single note on a dotted eighth, and it's just like my whole life.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, you got to go kind of quick with all
Dude,
that.
you were
just going.
You were literally killing it. You played... like exactly what I thought you were going to play. I was like, that's exactly it.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, I've used that a lot in a few mainland songs for real, but I mean, you kind of hear that modulation right there.
Right.
Kind of warbles in the background of it. Yeah. That's a sweet pedal. Like, I'd recommend that to anybody. It's kind of expensive.
Where would you find that at?
I think Guitar Center sells them new. But I mean, pretty much anywhere, like Sweetwater. Guitar Center.
So
come see me at Guitar Center. I'll hook you up.
So it's a known brand. It's a major
Source
brand.
Audio for sure. Yeah, sweet. I mean, honestly I haven't read a whole lot about that company, but I mean, I just recently got into them, so I I have the Nemesis delay by them, and also right below it, which is the next pedal on the chain, is the Ventress dual reverb.
Ooh, a dual reverb.
Yeah, it's sweet. I mean, you can do 2 reverbs at once on this thing, but I mean, I've been using just one really. I got these pedals here really recently, and so I haven't even gotten in depth with them just yet because they can do a lot.
For those of you listening, which is everyone, there is a lot of fucking knobs.
Yeah, there's a lot of knobs on this thing
between just those 2 pedals.
Oh yeah, and I mean they're both like really good quality. Like a lot of people nowadays think of that company Strymon as being, you know, the cream of the crop, like the ultimate quality pedals out there. Source Audio, they get compared a lot to Strymon. At least these 2 pedals.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the space delay that I saw was a Strymon. Actually,
yeah, it probably
it had
was.
an astronaut
they have the
painted on the fucking body of it. It had an astronaut painted on the body of it.
Ooh,
it was like purple and blue, and it was beautiful, man.
Ooh, man, I think I know what you're talking about. That might not be Strymon.
It might not be, okay.
But I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
whatever that was. Yeah. Oh my god,
pretty sick.
Dude, I fell in love. I was like, I looked it up and it was like, you know, one of those $300 plus. I was like,
it was like super lush sounding.
Nah, you know, it's cool, but I don't got $300.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, that's honestly one of the big reasons why I love working at Guitar Center, because I mean, I can get some deals, and you know, I see a lot of used stuff come in first, and I've been lucky to get that. Do we what?
Do y'all take in boutique pedals?
I mean, yeah, like you know, mean for like used
like
stuff?
Trade in? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, totally. That's how. I mean, honestly, that's how I got like a lot of the stuff on my board.
Interesting.
I mean, at least these 2. I did have a Strymon El Capistan on my board, but I mean, before this started, I told Corey about it, and basically what happened is a dog ended up defecating on my pedal board, and that Strymon bit it pretty hard, so it doesn't work anymore. But that was honestly my favorite freaking pedal. It was a perfect tape delay.
It's also the craziest story of how a pedal died ever.
I know, right? Yeah, like old dog shit. You know what
dog took a shit on my pedal.
Strymon probably won't cover dog shit.
Hey, who knows, man? Fucking, I'll tag Strymon in this. Maybe they'll listen.
I mean, I was thinking about calling them up at least and just seeing what they say, but
maybe,
I mean,
can I send you the body and give me a discount on a new one?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
can we work something out?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you can't blame the dog though. Poor girl was sick.
Sure.
Yeah,
no,
love
blaming
that
the
girl.
puppy.
Yeah, but yeah. So this Ventress reverb get real atmospheric with this stuff. Has a whole lot of atmosphere.
Dude.
Raise this up a little bit. Whole lot. Whole bunch of stuff. And I mean, a lot of times, you know, I'll combine that with delay, of course. Real lush stuff. Not too bad. And again, that pedal, I mean, gosh, like I'd recommend everybody looking this thing up. Ventress, VNTRIS reverb. Whole bunch of different reverb settings. Like it has an auto swell on here. Has a good a lot of people like that shimmer shimmer reverb a lot too. A lot of like worship bands like that a lot too. Adds that octave above the reverb right there. Pretty rad. Yeah, anybody wants some atmosphere, that'll definitely take care of it.
You are speaking to my soul right now, man.
Shit. Yeah, that was that's just a simple hall reverb right there.
Right.
Emulates you being in a big ass hall room reverb. Basically emulating being in a bedroom right there.
Very fucking cool, dude.
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh my god,
badass. You know, and I have 2 reverbs on this board. Used to have the 2 delays, but you know, the dog shit happened and stuff. Yeah, so I'm working on the other delay now. But I also got
the delay.
Yeah, I know. I want to get another one of those, but my god, they're expensive.
Yeah,
they're like $350.
Woo.
Like it's just insane, you know. But I mean, it was worth it though. I mean that, you know, that emulated a tape delay, just like, you know, an Echoplex from back in the 70s.
Right,
know,
dude.
Stuff
right.
that like David Gilmour and shit was using.
Oh.
Yeah, I got this. What
is that there?
This is the New Neighbor Immerse. New Neighbor NEUNABER Immerse.
Is that the company?
Yeah. They're another. It's a boutique handward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is a sweet reverb pedal. It has a lot of, just like the Ventress, it has a lot of different options. And I mean, I have 2 reverbs on this board to, you know, get 2 different kinds of reverb whenever I want to, and then stack them so I can get this huge atmospheric sound whenever I want to be really ambient, you know. On this setting, it has a whole lot of modulated reverb, a lot of like kind of chorus-like sounds in the background of the repeats.
That chorus rolling off the end, dude, is just beautiful.
And you know, whenever you raise the depth all the way up on here, it's like it never ends. You just hear it keep on going. Just like never stops.
That's one of those playing in 16 measure fucking dudes right there.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps on going, like it doesn't stop.
Is it infinite, or is there like a wow?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have the depth and the level just cranked on it, and now it just doesn't
just
really
rolling over itself. Here we go.
Yeah, take the depth down. Yeah,
there
it just
you go.
Just rolls off there.
Oh
this
my
thing has
god,
a pretty cool shimmer on it too.
Oh, there you go.
Not bad. It's like a chorus of angels.
A little bit.
Yeah, pretty sweet shit. That's basically the last pedal on my chain, except for this looper. I have an RC3 looper on my board.
Can we go over that? I actually wanted to talk to you about the looper
loopers.
pedal.
Oh yeah.
So I came up to a Guitar Center and was asking. Remember, I was asking you about loopers and all that stuff because I talked about it earlier. Like my band loves to run inline samples.
Yeah.
I know, and everybody got the Boss, the 2-pedal. What is that red?
Oh, the RC30.
The RC30.
Yeah, the 2-pedal one.
Everyone's like, dude, that like our buddy Baker.
Yeah, I know.
He runs that. I know a few people that run that exact pedal.
He runs that in the solo act.
Yeah. No, and Fred too.
Oh, right.
Because he'll actually loop. Because I think he's the only guitar player in Fred.
Yeah.
He'll loop a part and then do a solo over it, right? Okay. Well, I was like, well, that works, but it doesn't work how I need it.
Right.
So actually, like, and this is just one of those, sometimes you find like the little gem in the bullshit, you know, like the shittier end. Digitech makes a thing called a Jam Man.
Yeah, right.
Well, they have the little boxy Jam Man, that little blue dude with the single stomp.
Right.
But then they have a big granddaddy version of the Jam Man.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the double pedal one.
Dude, yeah. Well, that not only, so everything's, see on the 30, you have to like get down and bank up, you know, with your hand.
Right.
And I'm attached at the microphone in that band. Like I cannot move because I sing.
Yeah. A lot of times it's really inconvenient.
About 94% of all the songs have vocals over them. So everything has to be foot controlled, and we like instant, which the Jam Man, the bigger one, I wish I had the name in front of me. it actually will, you can actually bank up in the middle of a sample. So like say we set a sample, I can bank up and it has an you can set it to auto stop.
Yeah.
And then when I hit play again, it's the sample I banked up to.
Okay.
So like everything just in line. So as a sample's going, I bank up to the next one, then just hit it, and it's all foot controllable.
Like really live friendly.
Dude, you're super live friendly. Yeah. So if anybody out there is looking for like a way to control samples without like adding a member, because that's what, I mean, fuck, we did it.
Right.
You add like, we had like the laptop.
Right.
Or sometimes you'll have a guy in the bushes that knows your set and he's hitting play.
Right, exactly.
Or sometimes you're bringing a CD and you're asking the sound guy, hey, can you hit play?
Exactly. Like, yeah, and just like expecting him to do it properly.
They don't actually make it anymore. Two things about this pedal. They don't actually make it anymore. You can find them on eBay for about $150.
Yeah. I think that's the Jam Man stereo.
Yeah, stereo. That's it.
Yeah,
yep.
So.
And it has an SD card and it has a USB in.
Yep.
But there's the trick. Okay, there's a trick to this pedal. It's about 9 steps to get the samples actually on it. You can't actually just put the SD card in the fucking thing and it'll work. It says you can. That's not true. Also, if you're a Mac user, you better have a friend that has a PC because the Mac software is a port and it literally doesn't work.
Really?
I had to find that out the hard way because I have this MacBook Pro and I have an iMac. I don't have any PCs. And I was just going over and I got on a bunch of forums and they were like, yeah, it's dog shit. Like you literally have to go through all these steps just to get the sample on the card.
Damn.
And you have to connect it at the same time. So basically the best way to do it is a buddy of mine. Everyone has one of these guys. You have that desktop laptop.
Yeah.
Just have a friend, give him $20, snag that joker. I have an Asus now that lives in the case with that pedal. So when I have to, put shit on it, like let's add this sample, and it can bank up to 100 internal. You can actually store them internally, or you can do the SD card, which I rock the SD card just for versatility.
Yeah.
So you can have up to 200 samples.
Damn.
Well, it's actually 198.
Yeah.
Because it's 99 each one.
That's crazy.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
I've got 13 on there and I'm already losing track.
Right. Yeah. I mean, gosh, I use this thing just for like writing purposes, really.
Dude, literally, I had to take a piece of paper and make a list, and it's on my amp case.
Yeah.
Like, if you're whatever set
just like
we're
whatever,
running,
so you can keep track of all the samples.
It literally in the set list, it'll say sample 8.
Huh.
You know,
right? Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess you have to, like, really, yeah.
But shout out if anybody's looking for that kind of thing where you don't want to necessarily add a person, but you do want to run live samples, and then it can actually work. I mean, if you're playing with monitors and such in a metronome, you can actually put it in live, and it can actually loop in because it actually has a USB out. So you can it's actually a super versatile pedal, and I found it after I talked to you because I had to go home and sleep on it, and I was like, man, I just really need something that's foot controlled. Why don't they make this? Turns out they did.
Yeah,
it's the only one that I did quite a bit of research. I think it's the only one I found that's truly foot switchable, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
$150, dude, best $150 I ever spent.
That's badass.
As far as like my live show is concerned.
Yeah, for $150 for all the features that has.
Right.
That's insane. Yeah.
Now, the outputs are pretty good. I run it through the one issue I do have with it is it doesn't have its own direct out. It has a headphone out, and then it has a mic in, but it only has a TRS, which would be a 1/4-inch cable out.
Right.
And that's it's a bit kind of fucks with the mix sound, like the master sound
live whenever you're putting it through the mixer,
right?
Everything like
right. So what I did is I went from the headphone jack out to a DI box,
right on,
and I
because you kind of want an XLR connection there.
Yeah, and I turn the ground lift on, and I make sure that the signal is going to be as pure as it can be coming out, and I don't want to do the TRS out because it's pingy. It just like it shits all over the lows.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
XLR is always a better connection for sure.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Get that. What is it? Low Z connect or whatever. Yeah. I can't remember what they call it, but yeah.
Yeah, but this pedal, like, I love like having a looper, like, because especially something that has a saving capability like that one does. You know, I just use this so I can save like all my riffs that I'm gonna forget because I'm fucking ADD as shit. You know. And so,
do you have the same? If I don't play it 900 times, I won't remember it.
That's the thing, man. And for the past 2 years, I'm almost sitting on a full album right now.
Oh shit!
Just songs I've been writing over the last 2 years, and I got a couple of guys that are interested in starting a new band. And
okay.
So trying to get into that, but I got to get this stuff out of me.
That would be exciting. No, hey, I know those woes,
for
my
real.
friend. I know those
I got to
woes.
do it, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, the loopers really helped me over the years.
I think I'm not shitting on what those do.
Right.
I was just saying for my application,
for samples,
for a sample live band.
Well, using this for samples would be stupid. You have to double tap it to stop it. I mean.
Super hard, super complicated.
Right. And I mean, this thing has built-in drum tracks. I don't use the built-in drum tracks. I don't really need them. I think they sound like shit anyway.
They do.
Yeah.
Really they're all just like 1980s.
But I mean, I have 50 licks in this thing. You know, it can save up to 99.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, I just have. I mean, it's just a really, really cool way for me to be able to write music and remember what I'm doing.
Does it also hook up to the computer? Can you like offload?
Yeah, you can upload these loops as WAV files in your computer too.
Hell yeah! So if you need to get rid of them,
get them into your DAW.
Hell yeah!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sick. Yeah, this is probably the most useful pedal on my board as far as like being creative goes. Yeah,
awesome.
I love it.
So to kind of try to wrap this thing up, I know we've been talking forever. I was gonna see if you wanted to, show the people layered effects real quick.
Layer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like to kind of like sing us out of this thing.
Right.
Talk us through
like
maybe
ambient layers, kind of.
Talk us through maybe what you're gonna add, and then just show me like, because dude, you post some of these Instagram videos that are just like, dude, I'll be sitting in my room, I'll let that thing loop.
Yeah.
And I'm not making this up. I'll literally just let it loop, and I'll just start making up like my own words.
Oh, for real?
I'm just like, dude, this sounds so fucking pretty.
Well, badass, dude. Yeah,
I love.
Yeah.
Just it's. I think it's what my soul's made of is ambient music.
Well, I feel you, man. Yeah, and I've been trying to do a lot. I mean, honestly, lately I've been trying to do a lot more of like some sort of a melodic hardcore kind of a thing, like melodic hardcore with this kind of pop punk kind of influence to it.
Dude, it's in.
Yeah,
that melodic-y thing is in.
And I mean, I've always been into that kind of stuff. You know, real into Misery Signals. You know,
I can attest.
Shai Hulud was a really big influence on me. I like modern bands like Counterparts a whole lot. Thursday, you know, big influence on me way back in the day. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, for real. Yeah, huge influence on me. But yeah, like I mean, the new stuff I'm doing, I'm still kind of incorporating like a lot of ambient stuff, and it's still pretty progressive, you know. But I mean, I guess if we want to like do some layers,
dude, let's layer this bitch out of here.
Right. I'm gonna turn on probably this delay pedal here. Turn on the compressor, smooth everything out. Maybe turn on this reverb. I still wish I had 2 delay pedals, honestly. But maybe turn on the other reverb too. Yeah. Kind of have the shimmer on there a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
A whole bunch of ambience.
Oh,
I know, right? I could do that forever, probably.
I could listen to it forever, my friend.
Yeah, I know. Take a couple tokes.
Dude. Well,
yep.
I mean, I think that was awesome, dude.
Fucking badass.
And thank you for being my electro guinea pig of sorts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
the pedal guy.
It's been fucking awesome to catch up with you.
You too, man. Yeah, for real.
Everybody, like, seriously, if anybody listening, you're thinking about getting into something or you want to try something, this is your fucking dude. You go to Guitar Center, he's there damn near every day.
Pretty much.
Every time I go, you're fucking there.
I know. I've been there for fucking 7 years almost now.
7 years. He's killing the thing. Yeah. He's one of the best in the game you could ever want on your side.
Thank you.
Dude, Chris, this has been fucking amazing, man.
Badass, dude. I love this. I love what you're doing.
This is awesome, man. I can't wait to just listen to this again.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
I can't thank you enough, dude. I really can't. You put your time aside. You just got off work. You come out here and do this whole thing for everybody. Is there a place people can hit you up digitally? If they
fuck yeah. I mean, you can always hit me up on Facebook.
Is it just Chris Doan?
Yeah. Just Chris Doan. Yeah, just hit me up there.
ChrisDoan?
DOAN. Okay. Yeah, and like he said, I'm always at Guitar Center. I'm the only Chris that works there. You just ask for me, I'll take care of you for sure.
Dude, for sure.
Won't be too big of a salesman on either.
No, you're not, dude. You're just like, hey, but like that's what I like about a lot of you guys, man. Y'all don't necessarily sell. You say, well, what do you need?
Right.
And then you try to fit to that.
Yeah, I love the people I work with, man. Yeah, we're not like big car salesmen up there.
No, you're not an overseller, man. No. And I love that about
I love my job.
That group of people is a great group of people.
Hell yeah.
Y'all do a phenomenal job, and I'm fucking in awe at how awesome that was.
Thank you. I'm bad. This is badass. I loved it.
Thanks again, dude. Would you want to do this again sometime?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, sweet. We'll do something else that we know, and Chris is an amazing guitar player. Maybe we can talk about different techniques and stuff like that.
Right on. Cool.
Everybody out there for listening, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hit us up on Crashcast, and on Twitter it's CrashCastPod1. I pretty much suck at Twitter these days. I'm getting older and I don't really know how to use it. But if you want to chime in, guys, we're on YouTube. We're on all the downloadable apps. We're on fucking Android, Apple, you name it. If you do have Apple, it helps us a lot if you do give it that 5-star review, or 4.5. I'll take that. Just nothing less,
Yeah, give this guy some props. Come on.
Well, it helps me. And if you are listening, always download, because that helps me, and then I can shop that to other people, and we can do more with this.
Right.
Get bigger guests, get like different kinds of things going on. This took a couple hours to set up, so it allows me time to like do more shit like this.
Right.
And maybe eventually one day add some video, or maybe even some paint on the walls, because right now I'm rocking that wallpaper junkie,
Hey, whatever works,
Right. But everyone, this has been fucking awesome. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you again.
If there's nothing else,
you good? I think we're good.
All right, man. Well, everyone out there, thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.